#1 for day #2, and a BRDM is already in the IGL.
Yeah, and Fairest is just going to go scouting now, right? You look at what the rest of the team are doing. He can go around with that BRDM, find information for the rest of the team. And one of my favorite things about the BRDM, Mark, is even if it does get destroyed, as long as you're not in it, it becomes a massive bit of cover then whenever it's no longer able to move.
Yeah, and we've seen a change recently with the BRDM. This has been more defensive play, so they're used for scouting, using obviously the angles, using the ridges where they can, trying to keep it safe. Not as many teams and players are just sort of dedicating shots towards it, and we see that more and more. So yes, if it does eventually go down, it is a great bit of cover. A lot of teams now actually migrating in. Michael has got the recall back, but he might get caught out. That south side of the Philippines coming in really close behind him.
Yeah, just get the foot down, hit that accelerator as fast as you can to join the rest. Okay, it's yesterday's circle. It's yesterday's circle all over again. Ukraine now trying to cross the bridge. Chinese Taipei on the move. There's going to be a clash on that very western bridge now as Norway, Finland, India, Japan, everybody is going to try force their way over that double-deck bridge. And speaking of Japan, they look like they're going to be the team that at least gets there a little bit earlier, maybe some of the competition.
Engagement probability, everybody, they've got to clash. Everyone's on the north side. Everyone has to get across. Gustav, open things up. Himan's going to be there. Beamy looking for that confirmation. Mixing though. Store driving through as Denmark go under the bottom side of Japan. Well, they know there's trouble ahead.
Yeah, Beamy sits behind the concrete bollard now watching Japan, and they're no longer going to attempt this crossing. Kazakhstan, they're going to go on that upper deck, which might be their best situation. And that's exactly what happens as Beamy will now look to join the rest of the teams. But Mark, after Kazakhstan, Finland still got to come this way. If anything, some of the teams that are benefiting most are the ones that drop to the east, because they can just see what's going on and completely avoid these bridges.
Yeah, the team neutral disengaged. They went back towards that Palace crossing. Australia's going to be doing the same. Malaysia went all the way back, same as Canada and Argentina have gone really far into the blue now to rotate their way around on that sort of east side. Surprise, Team UK hasn't moved into more of a centralized position. They have moved off the edge. They have taken the next compound a little bit further, and we do see Vlad obviously was flying back in. So they'll be back to a 4, and they're going to have a compound now to try and hold, arguably, Gibson, a pretty strong compound.
Yeah, Kazakhstan holding the hill as well, just by the bridge as we watch neutral rotate in on that southern side. They'll probably come into the fields just south of where Team UK are playing in right now. Another team that have to rotate is Australia. You know, look at the leaderboard, Mark. They're on 28 points in 7th place, but that is not that far away from the likes of even 10th place. So I think Australia, they have to really put the pedal down today. And how could they not perform when you have players like Tiggleton, like Flood, like, you know, Luke 12, guys who've been playing internationally for their whole careers?
You might have sometimes the best players on paper playing together. It doesn't mean they gel and synergize. And I think that's been the historic trouble with Australia. They've seemed stronger this event so far, and we've seen real highlight moments where they kind of come together. But then on the flip side, especially when we look back at Tago and Shen, he was able to kind of hold them off as a solo man, and it doesn't kind of synergize. So I'm interested to see what they do. Expectation for me is they are going to qualify, but it needs to get rid of this team in front of them as Ukraine. They've already positioned up. Hakatori's one side boosting, finds the other front, comes to a complete stop, but they do fight back and Hakatori goes down.
Yeah, but it's still a 3 versus 2 now. Tiggleton will confirm out Hakatori getting that point on the board, but this is big for Australia as they try to hold back Ukraine. Diffex tosses that nade off into the distance as well as another player is going to fall. There's just one Australian standing now, Mark. It's Tig, and well, he's already got it a dodge.
Yeah, and that BRDM is coming back. They had the advantage, but until the body started to fall, boosted out the opening up. As Tig does find safety, he's going to have to get a med back on, and fortunately for him, he's going to have to try and keep his head low now. No other teams coming in for that third party, which I'm super surprised about. Anyone that has the opportunity to try and stop Ukraine today, they have to take it.
Yeah, well, you've just gifted them 3 kills early on, but you've lost Hakatori, and, you know, we've had that conversation many times. Like, Hakatori, arguably the best mechanical player in the world right now. He's just insane. But if you're Ukraine, it's actually been Fairest who's been fragging out for that team, and he's still alive and well.
Honestly, this year, Ferris has impressed me so well. That IGL shift, that ability to be that kind of not just lead in making the calls, but a top fragger, which we do see from IGLs now. They seem to be transitioning to these kind of killing machines, and he's been outstanding, well above the rest for me. Yeah,
now we're looking at Malaysia, currently sat in 11th place. Remember, they lost 1 to Argentina a long time ago, who are yet to make their way in as Mystical carrying that box. And, well, I was speaking about how Ukraine were going to play with 3. They just pick up the blue chip, go back into fishing camp, and Hakatori will be back soon. And I think that's where that gifted crate's being brought.
About to say, that is exactly, just bringing his gear to him. You just land here. I've got your setup complete. You're off to go again. They do sit on the outside edge really well. Neutral, though, obviously did go for that wide rotation towards that east, but multiple teams, I mentioned before, have done the same. Argentina and Canada, they all now potentially can clash as they all come in on the southeast corner.
Then we saw that graphic at the bottom of the screen, right? Argentina and Brazil with the most wins combined in PNC with 9 between them. But I think the reason why you don't see them winning the events, Mark, is it's inconsistencies. Like, they'll win 1 map, they'll do nothing for 2, and then they'll win the 4th. It's kind of been that way for them over the last 2 years, but I'm really hoping that Brazil or Argentina can really step things up this year.
It's just blowing that hot and cold, isn't it? Finland, though, I'm trying to hold out at the moment, though. They hold underneath the bridge. Damage is done, but somehow Japan punch a hole in his offensive line, not just on Finland, but also Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, Finland, of course, need to get the points as well after yesterday's saviour from Chinese Taipei. He'll catch out Runax as he rotates on by. As Japan just getting torn apart. They waited so long to make that crossing, and it's not worked for them. India and Neutral as well, Mark. They're going head-to-head here on the south.
Yeah, and Great Britain, they got eyes on. India, click dry. That's the ridge line. We're giving a little bit further afield, though. We'll hold the line, but do you look at the reposition, find safety, because the third-party shots coming from the compound is huge, and it's disrupting Team Neutral.
Yeah, Levante's just going to hit that reverse to get back, but Michael's going to catch him from long range. Down to falls Levante, and T-Bone will clean that one up. So Neutral, they're down 1 player for now as well, as UK hold a great compound in the circle, as do Norway, Mark, but there's way too little real estate now for all these teams that are standing.
Yeah, it's up to Team UK to try and defend off any sort of push coming from Canada, and for Team Neutral, we saw them flex out the compound. Hopefully they can be disciplined. Back to the Philippines, though, they do get the confirmation on towards Shimboy. Argentina also doing the same for Japan, as Petulians, though, looking to get involved, and T-Bone takes advantage of the grenade, and it's Petulians reads a kill feed. He charges forward.
Yeah, that compound is just giving them so much of a good view of what's happening on the south side. Finna and K-Mine now, both still alive, but going head-to-head with Neutrals. Batu will pull the pin on that nade, trying to cook it to perfection. Will it be Chef's Kitchen? Might just be 57 damage on the Finna. But here comes the Doozy now to really give them the numbers.
Yeah, he doesn't know exactly where he is. You can hear the footsteps. The second one will go through between his fronts to Kobe. Obi, he does comes back on the other side as Adam does open things up. He does go peekaboo on the top, and UK causing problems. And the Doozy falls down as well. Looks like Canada are trying to hold out as Philippines drop in 50.
Yeah, but K-Mine now is really the only player left standing for the team. Seeing both his teammates down beside him, and soon to be out as the UK start to extend. Canada are now dealt with. Vard will pick up that kill for the UK, and they know they've got Neutral on their knees, so why not get more aggressive? But I think Michael's just had a look at the terrain and said, yeah, I'm not stepping any further towards that. I'm going to fall back to the compound because we hold all the cards.
Well, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? They stepped out a little bit too far, and they got punished for it. So good call for them. They're going to hold the compound, let this reset, and try and get the opportunity. Japan eventually do fall, as Ferris finds with the M249, and Argentina obviously making the push, that centralized compound. And Malaysia pitched up quite early. Splits. Zone shifts back down. A lot more teams now to south.
Yeah, Tig with a Panzer as well, looking directly towards DraftKings, thinking maybe he can send that down range, and he does, but it only does 46 damage on the DraftKing, who's still alive alongside Capitan. Going for the res now on the Pipa to get back up to 3 players standing, but you look at the traffic, Australia, India, Ukraine, Chinese Taipei, Malaysia, all convalescing on this point.
I like Finland's position as well. They're coming in that northeast corner as well, so they're going to apply some pressure. Capitano launches forward though. Molly comes through, gets connection, nearly gets Shin. He's there. He exchanges out, and he looks for that confirmation. Unable to do so. Flash comes through. Has to get the reload. Does get caught in the flash. There goes the flush. That will come through, and it's a head-to-head. And Shin stands up, but he gets put down.
Yeah, this is big now for Pipa. Last player standing for Argentina wants to confirm out the kill, but Fairest just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. 5 kills for the Argentinians now. As well, Shen, he's going to start bleeding out, and Pipa will confirm that for the extra point for Argentina.
That's that sort of defensive play from that BRDM. Ferris is just looking down that hill, just getting the information. Ukraine now obviously leapfrogging ahead towards that south side. Now they potentially could take a fight against neutral as they disengage. Don't forget, Lou is down. And there's that confirmation done out into the blue. Zone shift towards that north side. Not great for the Team UK. They have to think about what they do now. But it's the same for Ukraine. Where do they enter in? There isn't much to hold now where that BRDM's positioned.
5 kills on the board now, and you look at it, they're likely either going to push towards Argentina or Chinese Taipei, because it's probably the easiest and safest push that they can make from this point on. They are really the only or the most southern-faced team in the circle. Neutral working their way in now, as well as Batu and a doozy. Send it in towards Pipa, and Batu, I think this rock, this dip, is just something he can play for now.
Yeah, it's really lucky for him that the supposed to smoke from Pipa kept him alive. Unforgiven finds Platoon. Ferris jumps out, and for Team Neutral, it's a collection. A lot of the other teams are collecting those points. India and Norway put more points on the board.
Yeah, Neutral 33 points down and out in this map. And Norway, Chinese Taipei, you got UK all still alive below them with the opportunity to start climbing above them. Hoba sends a beautiful mortar up into the air, and he'll find Mixon. He's going to go for that as a race, but you got to be careful of the flip, and it's going to be another.
Beamy's been flattened. The car's been used. Keta, he's in the open terrain. They're charging forward. Kazakhstan wants to take the blood, and it's Denmark on the back foot. Keta still survives, but he's down to one more grenade, and he'll be out.
Yeah, Ukraine up to 83 points now with 7 kills. Kazakhstan is 2-1-0, 2-1-0. Stepping his way up towards Keter. He's going to get another one on the board as Kazakhstan move up to 4 points on the map so far. Still 10 teams left alive though, Mark.
Beamy got flattened. It's not what you want to see. I do like this position, as I said before, from Finland. Here comes Ukraine looking to try and take the trench that is unfolded between multiple teams. Flash will come out, though. It's not going to be enough. He's about to step up. He's flashed himself. It's a complete flash up. And he's trying to knock him down, and he slaps him down with the mini.
Oh, the hipfire, the blind hipfires of both players try to get it done, and Defex is the one that's going to win the battle. Chinese Taipei, Michael dropping that nade right on top of him. Upchen needs to be careful as he takes 54 damage. The Datsy is going to blow behind him as well, and Fex gets another.
Yeah, they're taking his 5 kills. They needed a big day, and they're leaving it to this final day. T-Bone launches the blue zone forward, pops the smoke. Now has the opportunity to try and get the red. The blue zone looking like it might cause some damage, but I don't know if it's going to get the confirmations that's needed.
Yeah, but this is good because those knocks on the Chinese Taipei allow them both to regroup. I Am 5 will find a knock, and that leaves Lun Lun as the last player standing, and one good nade from Team UK could wipe out every single member of Chinese Taipei. The BZ's not quite far enough, but you can see the 4 players beginning to close in the gap.
No, and they've got danger coming the other way. Vard holding that sort of anchor position for Team United Kingdom. Ukraine obviously applying pressure, and the high ground from Finland is huge. That's a huge nade, actually. And he does get rid of him. Chinese Taipei will fall, and it allows United Kingdom to focus back onto Team Ukraine.
Maybe UK just watched the England team play yesterday and got really annoyed, and they're bringing that anger into today's games.
I didn't know where you was going with that.
Again,
went the wrong way, I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah. Well, in fact, you drew yesterday. Yeah. With Ghana.
Disappointed. It was our toughest game. All right. No more.
Yeah. Defex just peeking up over that ridgeline towards Team UK. Now they can hold them out. Sly, the last player from Malaysia as well. All these players are going to be a wall that UK will need to climb over if they want to make their way into the circle. While all this has been going on, Mark, Finland, they've just snuffed themselves in on that northeastern side of the circle, and them and Norway, the 2 of the Scandinavian teams, just living their best lives.
But this is what we saw from Denmark, remember, yesterday. They came in from that north side and were left to their own devices. It's the same. They've kind of got a free pass. For me, Team Ukraine apply pressure to Team Neutral. And obviously now they're continuing to apply pressure towards Team UK. Big names you can take out the lobby.
Yeah, and Kazakhstan, they're going to play the shack now. They're actually going to leapfrog UK in, but Finland getting a knock on the Ilse on the other side of the circle. Hoba dancing around that fence now, takes a lot of damage as T-Bone will find one, but there's no need for UK, and ammo's going to become a problem now pretty soon for them as well, Mark. T-Bone steps up, and T-Bone shut down.
Superstar 2-1-0 though, stepping up again for his team, causing damage. Michael though reminds him why he's better. Vard launches a grenade, damage is done. Fex obviously giving the information away, so they know where the player is. Can Michael deliver another grenade? It comes into the trench, and Michael, it's 10 kills for Team United Kingdom.
Do you see the amount of body crates in that dip as well? There's so much loot that they can decide to pick up, as Shen has got Ukraine probably within sniffing distance at this point, just on the other side of that bodega as he looks. And I think Sly, if Sly can get a knock, it might just open up the signal for Team UK to push in. If Sly gets knocked, expect UK to go hard.
Sly, just be Sly. Stay down, look for the opening. Ukraine leapfrog ahead in the rise field, so they're looking to try and find where Team UK is coming in. They have to try and work their way forward. Vard does pull up, and correctly now trying to help out. I suppose for Ukraine, it's difficult for them to apply pressure. It's difficult to run the line when they're exposed behind.
Akatori tossing the nade up over that ridge line, lands it perfectly on top of T-Bone, who falls for the second time now, as that's going to put a pause in the push from Team UK. Scav gets a knock on the Jeems as well. So all the teams starting to go head-to-head here, Mark. But Vard wants to go for this res, but I just don't think he has enough time.
Go now. Go now. Oh, no! Don't go now! Oh, no! Ferris is coming! Oh, they completely deny. BRDM, 13 kills. It's an explosive way to fall. And I didn't even see that coming in. The BRDM sideswipe Team United Kingdom, and they go out and
BRDM enter stage left. Just snuck in.
And Ferris was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. Let's stop fighting them. I'm going to flatten, and we will take the victory.
Oh my, this is just yesterday. This is first game yesterday all over again, as UK got a strong start, and it's just Ukraine that flattened them then as we get towards the end. But Mark, Finland and Shen, with from Malaysia, the only two play teams inside the circle.
Oh God, what are we watching? Yeah, a couple of silos that we're trying to hold out. Finland, though, still have that 4. Hakatori looking to try and get some more kills on the board. A 15-kill game so far, and Ukraine are store up and kicking.
Yeah, but look at Finland. Only got 1 kill on the board, but they're making it into the top 4, giving themselves a great chance now to start making some moves, as Bustik will confirm out that kill on the Techers. 4 versus 4, Mark, for the win. Which of these two sides are going to take it?
I know where I'll be putting my bets on. I know you say if you want to win, you get a fin, but Ukraine are insane at the moment. They've got the high grounds, they've got a little bit of zone left. The Team Ukraine are setting up, though, to try and explode the ending.
Yeah, and at this point in time, you just see Finland, they have the high ground, right? But Ukraine, they've got the frags. 16 kills. Fairest still just leading the way for kills on this Ukraine side. Bustik with 5 of his own. And at the end of the day, Mark, they could get a 30-point chicken dinner if they go ahead and take down these 4 Finns.
It's just crazy, because if they do that, the last 4 games are going to be so interesting. As I say, Ukraine can now start bullying who they want to bully. And they are going to be deciding potentially who may or may not qualify. We're down to our final 2 teams. It's a 4 versus 4. Fortunately for Finland, though, they really need a big shift back their way. Otherwise, they're going to have to run the gauntlet down the hill towards Ukraine.
Big thing for me too for Ukraine is, even though they've been in so many wars, those helmets, those vests look to still be in pristine condition, which will give them a huge advantage as they secure this shack. Move on the other side, big opportunity to knock, and Sata's going to find it.
Santa does find it, and actually get a good amount of blows in towards Diffix as well. So for Ukraine, it'd be difficult to res if they want to extend out. They might be better just trying to hold the line.
Yeah, Sata just peeking on the other side, though, but Ukraine probably going to lose to Fix now at this point in time. You don't want to step up on the shack, because I will say one thing, Mark. Because Finland have been so quiet all game long, they should have all the nades, all the smokes, all the flashes that they need.
They haven't got a Panzer. Not that we've seen at the moment either. Ferris is just going to sit there and get the information that he wants. Level 3 vest untouched, level 2 helmet untouched, and he is cruising. Anytime he can jump out and cause chaos.
Yeah, correct. Sata just looking to destroy the pony, as he wants to make sure that there's even less opportunity for them to get on the move. So I like that from Sata. They've got 2 kills now, Mark, but as you said, that BRDM could be the game changer. For
Sata, that's really high IQ. He knew the car was going to explode backwards. It's going to come away from the wall, so he's not going to give them the cover that they want. So really good play for him. Obviously, they have to try and figure out how they get into this late game. Oh, and they do have an opportunity. They do have a Panzer. But Scav, he'll be 50-50 whether he launches it now or tries to take that next Dorito ahead.
Yeah, Finland just have to be careful, though. Yes, you've got the numbers, but if you overextend once with I was going to say Navi again because it's the 2024 team, but with Ukraine still having the BRDM, it could be a huge
Ucrania
difference
tiene un
maker.
poco
But
de humo.
Scav, he's got the Panzer, and that could really cause a problem for that
Ucrania no
BRDM.
puede salir.
42
Ucrania
rounds,
quedó apretado
556
ahí.
be enough to take out 3 for Ukraine. I'm not sure. You have to try and hold up. Varys jumps out. He has his trench all ready to go. He has backed away, expecting maybe a Panzer, but here comes Finland now. They stack up as they have to move on down.
Oh, the M249, though, sitting on the other side for Ukraine could be a problem. Scav gets the Panzer at the ready. This is the push. This is Finland trying to go to take the win. The Panzer goes out, but they managed to get the trademark 3 versus 2.
It's 3 versus 2. Boosting using the smoke to the advantage. IXE gets Akatori, and Finland make it 3 versus 1 as he launches the opportunity to go forward. Denies information, and Finland will back it. It might be a comeback. It's only 5 kills, Gibson, but it's a 15-point game from Team Finland.
Oversumi is all I'm going to say with that one, as the Finns take the win. Still don't get as many points on the board as Ukraine would have gotten, but James, Finland needed that.
That deserves a Suomi. That deserves a Torilla Tavatan. That is Finland, yes, of course. As you said, though, only 5 kills, but a win is a win here for the Finn boys. Coming on in to make it look clean, and Purexi towards the end was able to do the business. As Matrim joining me as well to get things rolling. I mean, this is a good win for them, but still Ukraine looking scary, and somehow Great Britain managed to get some kills.
I know, what's going on? Like, coming up with a win-win victory here, and instead it was just like a very chaotic Circle 2 that a couple of teams managed to navigate early. You mentioned the fact that Great Britain managed to take down Turkey early. That was big for establishing a lot of setups. But then everybody just kind of had to move into this completely open section of the map where it got really, really dicey and just kind of in the trenches for quite literally everybody having to fight. And that felt like where we saw Ukraine really step into their own game.
Yeah, Ukraine just did what Ukraine do. They just bullied teams like that fight with Australia, and I think they ended up with 16 kills to finish that game. It just shows the skill that those players have. But I think, James, to be honest, that's good though, because it helps the teams at the bottom if Ukraine are still picking up tons of points.
No, definitely. I mean, I was backstage as well, wanted to take a look at some of these final Mark, we were thinking to ourselves, okay, how many wins does Ukraine get today? So the fact that they were stumbled a little bit towards the end is nice, because me and Matrim were saying, yeah, it's probably going to be 6 wins in 10 games at this rate, but they do not get this one at least, Mark.
No, don't convert the line. But God, the kills they deliver, guys, were insane. And as I say, obviously in the pre-show and during that cast, it was like, it feels like they are controlling the fights that they want to, and it really worries me. 4 games left. They can apply pressure to any team they want. Yes, they haven't got the win. Is that going to stop Ukraine? No way. No.
Okay, I've got to jump in real quick. I mean, the amount of kills that Ukraine has, does that still count as a win? Because I think that they're going to be overall first on points, or does the chicken dinner count as a win?
Lucha contra Australia.
Yeah, well, I will always go down the chicken dinner as the win, but you're right. They are going to be above the leaderboards for this one, which is just, yeah, Ukraine looks like a total bulldozer. And I was, you know, we were backstage as well, kids, and we're theorizing who can stop Ukraine. And I feel like your China, your Vietnam, your Thailand, I think those are great rosters to be able to try and challenge them if they're looking this strong. Beyond that, I don't know who else. I do not know.
You're not going to give Team USA a chance? Is that what's happening? Matt, come on, surely we got to give Team USA a chance as well.
Look, there is a world, but I mean, I love the guys on the United States, but Ukraine is just playing at a different level right now. It is so aggressive, and they've got already so much synergy that's being built up by playing through the qualification rounds, where there are 2 different sides of how USA is going to play. Liquid and Falcons both play 2 entirely different styles, and I think that that matchup could make it a little bit more complicated for them to congeal as fast as what we see Ukraine doing.
Looks like IEXE might take himself a spot. No, it doesn't matter because it's going to be Fairest. It's going to be Team Ukraine yet again. Finland, get in the bin. No, but it's, in all honesty, great to see Fairest up here again, I think, by the way, because he'd already taken another man of the match yesterday.
Can I point out the kills to damage ratio again? Like, it's just the most IGL kill count stats you can see. Low damage, high kills.
Yep, doing all right for himself. He really has come alive alongside Hakatori and Boostic, especially, right, playing with Na'Vi. looking really awesome doing it. And Spiro, of course, over there, who has looked really good with them actually winning a PGS along the way. As we take a look at that, 22 points going their way. Finland does get 15. It's nice to see this team come together, Mark. Obviously, Kurexi obviously will be leading the charge, but the boys from No Slack, they impressed us in PEC, that's fair to say.
Yeah, strong team. And do you know what? They took advantage of the position they had in this game.
No era neutral, era China.
They couldn't find as many kills, but teams were pushing away from them every single time. So they held the train, they held their game plan, and they were able to execute themselves to a victory. It just wasn't the kill, but you would take those 15 points coming into state number 2.
Yeah. And the biggest surprise to me, really, of that game, Great Britain, you know, they got a lot of kills in that one. And actually, yeah, they've only got themselves up to 10th place, but at least, Matrim, that puts them in a position where they can now launch up towards the 8th place spot, because before, I think a lot of them maybe said that's not the case.
Hey, look, okay, this is where you started, right? Get the ball rolling, they managed to find successes early, and it's taken on a squad like Turkey, who's sitting way up on the leaderboard right now and eliminating them. What, I think it was Circle 1 or Circle 2. That is great for the morale of the squad. So now that they know that they can really step in, take a lot more firefights, and this is actually a lot closer of a head-to-head based off the way the last game plays out, is Great Britain managed to put up a ton of damage.
I mean, this was more points from this game than the entirety of yesterday, Mark, for Great Britain. So,
their kills, right?
as Matrim says, a very important step up.
Yeah, look, they're applying pressure. And look, if it wasn't for that BRDM and Ferris at the very end, who just wanted to shut them down as quick as he could, I think they could have gone on and got into that sort of top 4 scenario. But a 5th place, it's not a bad start. They nearly faltered though with that Turkey push, but they're able to dig deep, which is really strong.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Other teams, though, I mean, when you think about Turkey in that kind of position, yeah, only 1 kill goes their way here. Gibson, I think that with the way they got rolled up on and kind of lost that kind of fight, I am always a little bit skeptical of the consistency of Turkey. Yesterday looked awesome, and they're going to qualify on through. I just would like to see that kind of 2 days in a row from them.
And I think you're right to have those concerns. We've seen it time and time again from whatever Turkish roster that goes to PNC. I still think that they're going into today maybe a little complacent. They know the job's done. They don't have that same drive to be as good today as they were yesterday. But job's done. I'm still more concerned about the likes of UK and Finland, both of them doubling their points tallies from yesterday, which is insane. I think there was 1 point separating them at the end of the day yesterday, and now they're level on 27 points each.
Yeah, at least there's a bit of a fight back from those teams down towards the bottom to start things off, right? There are other teams, though, that need a similar fight back. Canada's one of them, Matrim. It's not looking good so far. I think still only 6 points in the 6 games so far.
Look, I like the fact that Canada is trying to go for some early game aggression. They're realizing the later stages of the game aren't going well for them. So at least try to find something in the earlier sections to work with. On the other side of that, though, Kazakhstan just had a pretty decent game. They managed to accumulate decent kill count. I think it was like 7 overall was their points that they managed to pick up off of that last game, 6, something like that. That's a very good start considering how yesterday went for them in general. Might still be hard, and they might need a couple of really big games to try to get themselves back into it, but this is a decent role for them to kind of go off the start of. Maybe Canada can find something in this next game. We'll have to see.
Yeah, they look quite serious as well to Kazakhstan at the moment, Mark, considering that they've made this change, made this switch up. Maybe that is the revitalization they need from day to day here.
Yeah, as we said in the pre-show, it surprised me a little bit. When you do change things up, obviously you are resetting completely, but after that 2-0, that looked good. He was able to get the defensive and apply pressure as well.
Vamos, que se viene.
They're doing the camera shots that looks like it might be game time. Will it be, though? Oh, the map's being taken away. You know what that means here for PNC 2026. All right, we are getting into match 7, as it will be on Erangel. It's going to be me and Matrim bringing you all of the action. Gibson Mark will get you back in after this game. And so far, so good for still Ukraine, but also the fight back is on here, Matrim, for those teams at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, this was actually really big for so many squads that were just having a lackluster day one. Talked about Finland, of course, United Kingdom, Kazakhstan, all on a run up. Malaysia did have a little bit of an earlier out, so this kind of made the middle pack a lot more dicey, as we do get a plane path that's going over military base. Always makes me a bit nervous to start off the game.
Yes, and if Martin was here, I know exactly what he'd be saying. He'd be as nervous as you, my friend, or as excited, because he loves military island circles. But for all of these teams, at least it's not too much of a stretch, not too far to get things rolling. My eyes do always kind of navigate towards what does India want to do, and already they were out super early, right? Going down to that military island base location, navigating away from what was the Argentina fight, but they'd already done that yesterday on the second Erangel, right? Going that West Coast split. So that's another team for India that we would love to see have a little bit of a bump up. Going to be difficult though for a team that doesn't quite get the international experience of the rest of these teams.
So how much can Finland capitalize off of this? Looking out, it's still going to be a very northern drop for them. Plenty of space to work with, so they should be fine as far as vehicles, looting, everything else like that. If we get a bait and switch circle, nope, not necessarily going to happen in that one, as they do actually have their players right on the cusp of being inside the circle as well. This is going to be a pretty friendly circle, all considered, but maybe a decent opportunity for the Aussies as they are due up in the center.
Yeah, for sure. Considering their drop spot, considering what is now a home turf circle already, that's very important. But what's also important is to think about what are the knock-on effects from survival stage into grand finals as well. Because as we watched back this previous game in terms of the highlights, you can see the current game down in the bottom left, we saw drop spot locations being claimed early. And China came in and said, we're taking all the middle spots and nobody's having them, and including on Rondo, Neox, and Test Track, which is, it's very bold, but of course they will be going for Pachinki as well. So if you want to make Pachinki work for you now, you've got to do it soon, because you're probably not getting that in the grand final.
China, with most of their players being 17, just deciding who cares, center is ours, I never would have guessed it. I mean, biggest shock in the world, right? Is got eyes out. Not any form of skirmishes off the start. Feels like most of our squad's going to be pretty comfy cozy. I'm curious to see if any of these squads that might be needing some points could go for bridge camps, because we do have a northern bridge camp capability and a southern bridge camp capability in this.
Yeah, there's an opportunity on those teams down on that South Military Island. I will say for Finland getting this win as well, though, obviously, watching No Slack, the three members of No Slack, be able to kind of step up to the plate in PEC was very important, because I think what Gibson said on the desk was very astute in that Finland's gone through ebbs and flows of talent, right? You had your Mexis, your Saptis, your Gemtis, your Tixus, your Squeakies, like tons of really strong players back in the years. And then Finland fell off for a little bit, and it was really only the Kirexi show. Now with No Slack being able to step up in PEC, they have a little bit more of a foundation once again. I'm hoping that No Slack can continue that on regionally. And it's a small win, but they're able, they generally will just like hunker down and hope the win kind of comes their way as the previous No Slack team, even though they've got fragging capability to match them.
I mean, this is just going to be big for Finland in general, being able to get this much exposure on land and an experience for these squads to work around. So there's a lot of growth that can be had out of this. A couple of shots are happening in the bottom left right now, as it looks like Malaysia and Philippines are pretty close to each other. Malaysia has one of their players over onto Everest. And it looks like the Philippines are just kind of roaming around Malaysia's positioning. And I don't know how big of a commitment's going to come out for this, but Malaysia is pretty funneled up next to each other, and I think that they're going to make the jump back over into that Everest line and could be okay.
I think that's a good question, because we saw the Philippines having really good, strong fortitude on the west side of Erangel yesterday, right? We saw Aya get a 4-piece on a single team, so a full team wipe. That said, though, some drive-bys going on here. Slide, what can you do actually against that? Looks like he's going to be navigating away from it here for the moment. Shen has already taken quite a bit of damage, and of course, he is not somebody you want to be losing as Malaysia at the moment. Oh, but A-Bots down straight away. AJ does finish him off as well. This has been a messy fight so far, but Aya does find Shen.
This is a big commitment coming out from the Philippines, because the way that they're playing around this, it feels like they were the ones that set the trap. They were roaming over here trying to cut off Malaysia and rotate. And now this has gotten a little bit more equalized with a couple of knocks coming out. How much more is Philippines going to push on this? It looks like this is full-on aggression. They realize they need to make big games start happening right now, and it is just a full rundown onto Malaysia. Shin being down, they know that he is a big damage component. Migits rolling down right on top of him. That is going to be an instant knock. Follow-up. Malaysia in a ton of trouble.
Lovely stuff here by Philippines, and if they finish this off quickly, they can get that blue chip back on board. This actually, he might already have his blue chip, actually, now that I'm looking at where he's going. But, no, sorry, it's empty. Never mind, I was looking at the wrong flag completely. As now he's in total salvage mode here. Alec being able to do a lot of work over there. But yeah, I mean, to what I was saying, Philippines can get that blue chip back on board now and get fully resurrected. So their strength on this western side of Erangel continues game to game.
Long rotate coming out from Canada. They're actually going over the Georgia Pool Western Bridge, so that might put them in a pathing to be pretty close to Philippines. We'll have to see how the rotates start coming through. Most of the other squads are already starting to try to get pretty comfortable. We do have Great Britain that is playing pretty close to that eastern bridge where Norway is going to be at, so no big dust-ups yet as Finland's even managed to make it in the circle. Denmark's already got a foothold. It's mostly just on this rotate as here comes Canada. Is the pacing good enough to get away from the Philippines?
Yeah, that's the question. Because actually, I think the Philippines has been good against Canada in the fights that we've seen with them so far here. So I think for Canada, they've got to be very cautious about how they approach this situation. Maybe they were doing some kill feed tracking here and there. Did see that one knock had actually gone down. So they may have thought if they could actually haphazardly run into a team, that they would be going into any wounded team, be it Malaysia or the Philippines. But they're both backing off at the moment here. And we are on board with Turkey, Mr. Schiller himself, really the MVP of yesterday for Turkey, absolutely.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, this man was popping off for his squad and really got them out of some dangerous positions. They're pretty comfortable in their position in this game right now, playing kind of that northern area of Death Road, moving into Potato Mountain. Closest threat to them, though, is going to be Denmark. Plenty of space, and not necessarily a rotate that Denmark will most likely go for. There's much better options before making the commitment in, but maybe a couple of long-range shots between them. I'm caught up with the focus on the Philippines onto Malaysia because it definitely felt like Philippines were gunning for Malaysia. I don't know if this was maybe based off of trying to deny out a squad points for rotate potential whenever they get to the grand final. But I mean, Philippines is already sitting in a pretty, I won't say great spot, but pretty decent spot on the overall leaderboard. So this is going to propel them up and really deny out maybe somebody that they didn't want in the lobby.
They've been my big surprise of the top 8 so far through the survival stages of the Philippines, right? They're not a team that, or names that get themselves tons of international traction, tons of exposure there, but they have definitely been able to deliver so far. And they're not afraid of taking these early fights as well, which is good for them. Because it is really paying off. And not only were they getting the res on Gatka, but I think they were also waiting on that side of the circle just to see if M2 was going to be coming in a little bit behind them.
I think that Malaysia Solo managed to go back and pick up a couple of the blue chips. Or at least he went over there next to him. We'll have to see if he can get any reses back. So timing on this is going to be really awkward as we're about to move into our next circle. The circle itself is pretty calm. As you can see, it is still going to be Australia pretty close to center. Ukraine's just going to be playing the hillside over into this kind of the southeastern area around that. Circle just stays pretty much centered up and in a red zone on top of it, and it's pretty much just a donut as everybody else on the outside's got to fight their way in. Most notoriously, you can see it's going to be Chinese Taipei, India, and Canada all stacked up on top of each other.
Yeah, the red zone before that was really weird. It was like south of Kaneshki. Normally it's kind of spawning towards players and stuff like that in these kinds of settings, but anyway, yeah, on with Denmark here. Fun fact, if Denmark reaches grand finals, Avenger will shave his eyebrows. Oh, that's nice.
That's good. That's a great birthday present, Mike.
I love that fact. Yeah, okay, Avenger, shaving your eyebrows. Love it.
Catch eyes on rotations here as Kazakhstan's going to be tailing right back behind Chinese Taipei. Japan's got some vision on this. Not going to make too much of a commitment to follow through. Canada looks like they're going to be coming in right back behind India, who is following back behind Kazakhstan. So this is just the corridor of approach that everybody's going to be going for, and it's the hillsides that lead into the eastern side of Pachinki. Problems is, that's already where Aussies are going to be set up at, and Ukrainians are going to be on the other side of it. So this is just very contained.
China's arriba.
Ermac here, looking to do his daughter proud and seeing what he can get done. Of course, just about to turn 1. Lovely fact there for Ermac, but going up against Chinese Taipei might be a little bit difficult. Scav does run into Captain on this side as well, though, as damage has been done. But it's actually Neutral that's more embroiled in this fight. Finland's kind of lurking on the wings of this fight, and maybe looking to clean it up as time goes on. But we move back over to Chinese Taipei, who's trying to deal with India breaching on this position.
Yeah, India didn't have too many other options. They just had to make landfall on top of it. Translucent is going to go down. Chinese Taipei is the defender in this position, as we did see India just make the crash in. No third or fourth party happening just yet, but it does look like Vex has at least taken a couple of shots over at Snipal. Force India back over onto the other side of this. So India's got to be forced on angle of approach right here, but Canada's going to be back behind him, and Savior spots out Snipeball.
Yeah, not bad at all. Let's see if we can get done here. Once again, needs to reload, get this good to go here, and fight this down. Snipeball down with this means that now, the problem is that technically there's a world where somebody just gets knocked to red zone as well. So they're really kind of hugging some of these buildings at the moment, just knowing that they need to be inside and good to go. But with this hold here from Chinese Taipei, India's had little to no response against it.
I felt like that's maybe what Snipeball was trying to set up with the glider coming back in, but Great Britain is just pummeling damage on any form of rotate over onto that more eastern side of this. That's contained anything that India was wanting to try to set up on their approach. Chinese Taipei now knows the exact angle of defense that they need to set up. And I mean, it's a 4v2. What do you do from that stage? You've got to hit the shots out, but India just can't find a way to make it work.
Malasia está...
No, stuck, really stuck at the moment, unless they get themselves some decent nades off, a decent Panzerfaust against the wall where somebody might be just kind of peeking out from, get things going. In fact, you can see in the distance, raining down a few shots here from that warehouse compound that actually Great Britain might now group up on, right? They had a 2-2 split on that south side, and it will be a perfect position for T-Bone to just rendezvous on forwards, unless they want to try and deny anybody coming around that south rotate, which is something that they oftentimes will do with a 2-2 split, which might work on the cliffside. We'll see.
Here comes Malaysia. They're going to have to try to get some looting and get back in position. It looks like Pachinki is going to be the point that they're going to drop for. Great Britain is going for that southern defensive peninsula. I do like that quite a bit. Other side of this, you can see that Turkey's got to make a rotate, and it's going to be right next to Denmark. I don't know how much further into this they're going to go. There are a couple of little dips that could provide some safety, but they're going to start moving into a lot more hazardous of territory. But being a bit more bold has paid off, as at least they can manage to get into a center point. Here's the Philippines on their rotate. They run right into the crossfire on that valley, and man, it's Canada one side, Chinese Taipei on the other, Kazakhstan full gatekeeping them out. Nowhere to go, and now where do the Philippines try to rotate to?
Yeah, it's a good question. It is a good question. And also one of the changes that we didn't mention coming into PNC, obviously we talked about, land ratio on these circles, but also now you get red zones into phase 3 as well, compared to just into phase 2. So technically speaking, with Great Britain having yet another red zone on them, like the Blitz down here, they're going to have to get into some cover and make sure they don't get knocked on like a solo position.
Hey, how good is the pounce on the nade? The angle goes a little bit far. Does it get the knock? Chinese Taipei playing aggressive. They've got the shotties in hand, want to go after it. We also do have the Philippines that's kind of watching what's going on over here, but now they're going to have Finland that rolls up on top of them, so a lot of danger in this area. Rolls right up, and that is going to be some great shots. More points stacking up for the Philippines.
Man, they're firing on all cylinders right now, as much as they don't have themselves that fourth member online and good to go here. CJ, though, cleans up a lot of what Finland wants to throw at them, and it was just an absolute rocket pass to try and make something work for Finland. Coming in late, now we really don't have many more places to actually go. They might just try and bob and weave through the middle of all of this. Meanwhile, still we are stuck here with Chinese Taipei and India in this compound, and if you can hear a siren in the background of mine, it's not the red zone, it's just a fire station close by. And it's going to need a fire station to come out to be able to save some of this. Panzerfaust goes out against Ryzen, and Zeno does go down.
Yeah, it is just now Ryzen. The only one up as Finland gets eliminated at range. Philippines hear this. They want to get involved. Oh, they catch a bad bounce on the vehicle coming in. Can they keep their players up and alive? One does go down, but Chinese Taipei has had to shift their attention over. That kind of contains a 1v1 on the India side with Ryzen.
Oh, what a disaster that bounce was. If that hadn't happened, suddenly you're way quicker hitting this compound. So now Chinese Taipei, though, they're still doing a pretty good job of holding this down. They're taking casualties, yes, but they've got a few kills off the back of it. Now the circle shifts, and it goes towards Ukraine home turf. Oh, dear.
Oh, that is going to be Turkey defending up to the north, Norway on the other side of it. Everybody coming out of Pachinki and the hillsides in a lot of trouble. Neutral's got the right idea. Just leapfrog it all, use an emergency pickup, get away from Denmark. But Denmark does have some high ground that can make that a lot more dangerous. Philippines now firmly pushing into the buildings. Got to be careful as Chinese Taipei starting to try to right up, get all of their reses going. Ryzen holding the stairwell, does get the knock on to one. Let's go for the flush. Any point matters, but that's going to cost him the follow-up. He is going to go down.
Que llegó un punto por lo menos.
An elongated fight for sure.
Argentina está
Now
aguantando el
still
podio.
Philippines here now sat on
Argentina
this
está aguantando
position,
el
trying
podio.
to kind of clean up a little bit more of it. You see Kazakhstan on the south side, but oh my! Well, we didn't see that, but that was swift.
That is another early out for Turkey, so I mean, they're still holding decent on the overall points. They should be fine. Philippines making the commitment onto this is just going for more kill points. This is not inside the circle. This is just Philippines realizing the next rotate could be pretty bad, so just committing in. Japan also making a rotate right next to Argentina while this is going on, so that's going to be popping off in the kill feed.
Argentina está ahí, tiene que aprovechar esos puntos.
This is getting a bit spicy now. Hot and bothered me at the moment here. It's hot in Poland and it's getting hot on the battlegrounds. As Xavier still trying to find another opportunity. Alec down. Philippines has really made a meal of this. I think with their current trajectory, they're going to be in the top 8, no problem. But they're constantly battling over and over. They are down to 1, but they've got themselves 6 kills. Ooh. Likewise, Japan now, though. I don't think they're going to be making that top 8 anytime soon. Michael gets them and catches them with another grenade. Great Britain is also making a bit of a run for it. Admittedly, the circle's been kind to them this time, though, having that south position side on this road.
Yeah, the 2-2 split that they're holding down is very strong. Kazakhstan has managed to rotate back behind them. Denmark's going to go for a much safer rotate, and I like this. This is very well scouted and very well read. Going from that northern area, wrapping down to the more central approach into the east. That's going to buy them a lot more space, as it does look like Malaysia's going to make landfall, find themselves a shack, and this is pretty much where they're going to live, as there is nothing else that they can get involved in. Other squads that we do need to keep an eye on is going to be Australia needing to rotate, as the Philippines do get eliminated, and it is going to be Chinese Taipei that do finally end up winning that, and the defense stays strong.
I'm going to be real, Matrim. Did you have on your bingo card that Malaysia was going to outlast Philippines in this game?
No. This has gotten just a wild off the start.
That is mental. But anyway, we've got Australia here trying to make something happen against Neutral up on that north side at the moment. Trying to find an entry point against the position there, but Neutral should be holding this down strong as Lou does connect with an nade straight away. Flood responds in kind against Levante. But I still think Neutral has a better position here. The Smokes are going to be able to cordon off some of the aggression coming their way, thanks to the fact that they can hold down on this. Hey, Canada, yeah, for that third party potential in the matchup.
Coming up, trying to backstab Australia in a ton of trouble. They either have to push into neutral or defend against Canada, and it's going to be Ukraine that's going to be gatekeeping all this. Norway is on the other side of neutral now. This has turned into a full 4-way firefight with the potential of a 5th team getting involved. Nades raining down on top of the Aussies, and there is not much else that they can do. Luckily, they are on this hillside, and the nades roll just a bit too far from Canada. Canada not getting the knocks that they really want to continue. Yeah. Finally do manage to get one onto Luke 12.
A lot have been slightly miscooked as well, which means that they're going to be expending more nades than they should have to be, considering those exact smoke positions. It's a minor thing here, but it could have huge ramifications later on in the game if they need more nades, because this has been a lot expended for currently what is just one knock from them at the moment. On the other side of things, Michael did post a nade through on that shack, I believe, against Malaysia, trying to weed them out, and Ukraine was able to weed some of that out too. But mind, he's throwing now smokes against them as well here. I think that will provide them a little bit of coverage, but at the same time, you should be able to clean this up now, knowing how much damage has been done.
They are just throwing any and everything that they've got on top of them. The Aussies have managed to hold out long enough to make it complicated for Canada, because now neutral, they kind of shifted over to deal with Norway. It looks like they've got more breathing room. Batulans has gone down. Canada has to figure out how much more of a commitment that they want to take into a doozy, and Lou on the high side of it. They're coming back down, full-on rampage from neutral. They want to eliminate Canada as quick as possible, but can't connect the way that they want. Have to retreat the angle, and Canada doesn't like it. They are out of this as fast as they can.
Yeah, 100%. Canada being there and not having any more nades, especially, like I was talking about earlier, is going to be difficult. You can throw nades, you can smokes, you can throw maple syrup, you can throw milk in bags. I don't care what you've got, Canada, at this point. You're going to have to try and do something and get out of dodge. But you do have a knock. At least you might be able to recover that here. And actually, Canada technically has won out that situation.
I mean, Canada is at 6 kills right now. This is the best that we've seen them doing. So if it's just a whole bunch of nades, at least it's something. Now they've got vision onto where neutral is going to be coming into the circle, but it is again a doozy, and Lou trying to brute force their way right next to K-Mine and Adam. Can they get the good angles onto it? A doozy does go down. Now just down to Lou, as neutral just doesn't seem like they have a path into the circle, just trapped out in the blue.
Yeah, this is working out. This is actually working out. Good stuff by Canada. Maybe this is their redemption arc. 7 kills so far. Meanwhile, on the other side of things here, Denmark still doing what Denmark does, which is just killing a lot of things. As Gustav and Beamy just laying low here for the moment on the east side of this circle. Trying to find themselves a decent way in further.
Notice the fact that we've got Kazakhstan that's still holding down the peninsula high ground. So they do have vision over where Great Britain's at, kind of as well with Denmark and Malaysia. So it's mostly them having control of the south, where it's going to be Ukraine up to the north. Circle pops. It's really going to be that Malaysian and kind of shack area where Argentina's going to be hunkered down inside their dip. And how does Ukraine want to approach this? They know that Canada's on one side. Do they wrap over there, or do they go ahead and go for the full wrap onto Denmark?
It's a tough one, this circle, right? As we're just trying to dislodge some of these solos and other players like He-Man for Norway. Now double blue on him. He should be gone. You can't heal through that. Good job by Diffex. Able to keep M249 shots in at the end. But it's deceptively flat is this ending. And unless you're actually digging yourself some dips here and there, it's going to be difficult. Gustav does get caught by that molly here from Great Britain. But they're trying to get that res off. So that will delay them a little bit. And Great Britain's been picked apart quite a sizable chunk here, and now against the circle.
Denmark making the full push. They're running right up into the smokes, and Great Britain realizes it, retreats to the trees, gets a little bit more cover to work with. Gustav, I think, just going to listening for footsteps, knows the fact that somebody's going to be playing other side of this hill. Very well set up in the defensive lines. Aggression comes out. Denmark just rolls through the other side of it. But Great Britain does have some high ground defenders as well, with Kazakhstan back behind him, making it a bit more complicated. Denmark just still trying to go for the foot push, but Fex just in a great defendable position. All the information getting fed over. Doesn't have much HP, but it doesn't matter. Fex gets another one.
You don't see too many players navigating towards the ace at the moment. It's normally a lot of orgs, a lot of barrels, etc., and things like that. But Fex is making it work here against Denmark, of all teams, trying to go for that wraparound. So a bit of a salvage game here for Great Britain. But one thing that's important, this is the first time they've been in the top 8 so far here. So they're doing something right, and Beamy goes down as well. Fex, the Welsh Dragon, coming out strong.
All right, Fex got to get into the circle. Already has Michael in there, so Great Britain on a big climb. And it's coming at the cost of Australia, who's just been sliding down the leaderboard, presently in 10th place now. It is just so neck and neck between all those guys right at the cusp position. Ukraine, of course, why not? Plenty of time to work with. They've got themselves a dip. Let's go ahead and throw some mortars in, and it's just going to make everything more complicated for everybody else, as the guys on top are just feasting.
I think they may be eyeing at Argentina, though, trying to create their own dips. And yes, DraftKings will go down. That was picture perfect, basically, to be able to get that instant elimination against them. And now Fairest. Oh my days. Did he move into the crater? Is he sat exactly where he is? He's got to get out of there.
I don't think he'd go anywhere else. I think he's just trapped there because Kazakhstan's shooting from the other side. I mean, he's just kind of... goes a little bit far, so at least some cover to be had, but I don't know what you can really do. At least manage to get knock onto one.
At least a good chance, as now still Canada still alive, trying to find some knocks. 2-1-0 down here. The substitute in for Kazakhstan, who initially was on the starting roster. Hobber was technically the coach. He came in. They're juking and jiving all around here. They are on that south side of the circle. They have still a little bit of play here for this one. But again, deceptively open a circle like this, especially with that road running through the middle here. So you're going to need your nades to be able to kind of make some artificial dips. You're going to need some of these foldable shields down the line, unless you're Ukraine and you just make a call for and win the game again.
Well, the big problem is there's a touch of high ground, and Canada is going to be playing it. Ukraine wants it because Ukraine wants everything. And so they are going to rotate right up on top of Canada. Can you defend? Adam gets one, but that was all they got. Ukraine just runs in and steals it, not even making it look scary.
This is like that. This is like a bully with a magnifying glass with ants, like just frying them. This is awful. Like, Ukraine is so far ahead. 10 kills in this game as well. They could have quite easily won the last game, and now they're on trajectory to win another game.
I mean, I'm just having like the Simpsons meme pop in my head with it's Ukraine and the rest of the lobby, and it's like, stop, he's already dead.
Yeah.
It is just Ukraine now, high ground. You mentioned a super flat circle, and now you get to see it from Ukraine perspective. Argentina still got one up in it, but Malaysia still alive, trying to get in the circle other side. Fairest is going to say no. Shin goes down yet again as Great Britain now going to line up against Kazakhstan a little bit. That's going to be about all that's going on. Is it's just can Malaysia get into the circle?
At least if you'd have got that knock-on Ferris, it would have slightly delayed whatever Ukraine wants to do. But no, he survives on 2 HP as well. With the MK14 in hand, they've got a great arsenal to be able to finish this off. They've probably got a bit of util as well. In that compound before, aside from the hold against Turkey, they didn't really have many other trespassers onto their position. So this is looking grim for the rest of the lobby once again here as Hakatori starts shooting the way at Kazakhstan, and now MK14 in the hands of Ferris takes down Shen. Malaysia still alive somehow.
Hey, respect though, Kazakhstan managed to find kind of a sneaky angle of approach. At least got a foothold in. They do get instantly knocked. The follow-up is it does finally mean Malaysia, after all of their reses and all of their work, finally goes down in 5th place though.
It's unfair. Stop. Turn the cameras off. This is not safe for work. Ukraine is on 114 points in game 7 of the survival stage here for PNC. And Hakatori takes down Michael. All right. Everybody else needs to ally against Ukraine somehow, some way. This is insane.
Están pushando Argentina.
Oh, this is Argentina. Now looks like they're the new focus. All the utilities still in hand. Nade's going to come up on top of him. Let's go ahead and make it 14. There's still 3 more and a potential victory. I say potential in the same way that you would. I don't even know. There is not even. It's just.
Lo que sí no pueden entender porque siempre Argentina llega con un solo.
It's like there's a video of like 2 professional football players playing against 30 children, and they're just like weaving and bobbing around them and all this stuff. It is just monstrous. And now once again, I am 5 down. For Kazakhstan, only 1 member remains 2-0, trying to make something work. And Fex on the opposite side of the circle. Fex did a great job this game for Great Britain, but. You know, how long can that truly last?
Great Britain in 5th place right now. Big come up from these guys. The thing I'm kind of thinking about right now is, do the 2 solos surrender it to Blue Zone, or do they still fight against Ukraine? It's not like you really have to worry about feeding them points. Everything's kind of fine on that right now. I just don't even know if Ukraine's going to let it happen. Ferris is making a run right up into Fex's face. Kaza doesn't have anywhere that he can go. Defex is going to get him, so Fex, all right. I mean, it's all Ukraine right up in front of you. Runs forward, does get the knock on 1. Another point is big and tries to run out to Blue Zone. Nice. He does surrender it. Big game, but of course, it is Ukraine that takes it.
And they are all smiles as well. How do you frame this? This is absolutely unrelenting, unbridled dominance coming out from Ukraine. Let's talk to Gibson and Mark about this. Gibson, I can't help but find it slightly funny, but also incredibly terrifying.
Oh man, it's insane how good they've been. But what about Team UK? Another, good point game, getting in there much better than yesterday, and I think Fex was giggling away there at the end too. He got the extra placement points and he got 1 kill on the Ukraine and bolted into the blue. But things looking good for Team UK.
Resumen de la partida
for some reason now
que acaba de terminar. Fue casi muy parejo para todos, pero Ucrania viene pisando fuerte. Desde la primera supervivencia viene pisando muy fuerte Ucrania.
I gotta apologise to production because I was screaming at the end there. Yeah, Fex able to go, lads. The fact he got another point. He just tried to step forward, he got caught. Look at that, that is insane. That alone, that shot alone is next level. Diffix is a beast. Forget about Team UK. Let's talk about that. Wow.
That was like clay pigeon shooting out of the sky.
How do they impress? Every single time I think that I've seen like how amazing this squad can be, they do something else and just dumbfound me.
Yeah, that was wild, because again, we didn't actually get to see that, so I'm glad we got the replay of it during that. That is insane stuff. And again, I mean, do we just sit here, Gibson, and glaze Ukraine for the next 10 minutes before we go to breaks?
Canada doubled their score, guys. Canada doubled their score.
Por lo menos Argentina se metió en los 4 mejores. Argentina estamos cuarto, estamos subiendo puntos, tenemos que pasarlo a Turquía. Tenemos que pasarlo a Turquía para estar por lo menos en los mejores 3. Pero por ahora seguimos cuarto, estamos aguantando el podio.
It's a lot better, right? Like 4 points Was it 4 or 6 points they got yesterday? So they've got a nice little bump onto that tally today.
Estamos aguantando el podio,
they were taking
muchachos.
on some strong squads, right, Mark, from that position. I mean, the fact that you've got neutral pushing you from that kind of position,
Estamos
you've got
aguantando el
Australia
podio,
kind of pinned down in that scenario as well. It was a good third-party timing for them, despite it not being super efficient.
It's a double up. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. But it did feel like, as Gibson said, 101 grenades thrown to the point, and then it was like smokes and everything else, trying to deny opportunities. Kind of dig deep. But it's just, is it too late at this point? Because if you're just leaving this last couple of games,
es una locura lo que juegan estos pibes, bro.
Yeah, you're going to need a few of those, and the track record
Lo bien
so
que se
far
conocen, saben cuándo pushear,
the track record's
saben
definitely
cuándo
good for Ukraine, who, once
hacer una
again,
estrategia,
1.1k
guardan
damage.
todo tipo de suministro,
No doubt. I mean, hell,
pushean
give him man of the match for that
juntos.
shot out of the sky alone, I think, Matrim, for that
No,
one. That
es-
was awesome.
El equipo hasta ahora, el equipo perfecto.
In one game for a squad.
Ucrania, bro.
What the absolute hell, man? That is. What do you even do against that? Like, we were trying to talk about like what's going on with Malaysia and the Philippines,
El
but
MVP.
every single time Ukraine just steps in and says, "Nah, this is our show. Everybody else just gets to play in it." And it's really just
MVP,
about how
Steve.
much can the other squads that are going to be playing in the grand finals analyze what's going on with
¿Qué
Ukraine.
querés? Se
and
metió
figure
tres
out how to
bombazos,
stop
mató a los tres juntos, bro.
It's a good question. At least they get a glimpse into what they're able to do, what they're
Bien,
able to
seguimos
pull up. It's
cuarto
26
puesto
points going the way
Argentina.
of Ukraine yet
Metimos
again.
7
Another
puntos.
decent swathe
Ahora.
of points for the United Kingdom. Mark, are they
Metimos
going to
7 puntos
qualify
ahora.
in top
Reino
8?
Unido
'Cause right
también
now it
metió
looks like
14
it.
puntos.
Yeah, I
8
think
kills.
UK will work their way through. They're a second day team, clearly. They need to qualify, though. I think it's who can avoid Ukraine at this point and try and qualify their way through. I'm concerned as well about some of the other teams that are starting to drop down. And neutral, they did try to make that push, go back to that point on Canada. They were one of the ones that were trying to take the kills and the steals away from
Bien,
Canada.
tabla final.
But unfortunately for them, they're
Siguen
dropping
en el
places.
podio.
Neutral were coming in at 5th in the last game.
124
They're
puntos tiene.
Yeah, do we have
Con
to
la
be
partida que
concerned
ganó.
about neutral, Gibson?
Dinamarca
Because this,
sigue ahí.
if you look
Turquía
at
está ahí
fantasy, I
nomás.
think the
Estamos a
highest
11
prize team in
puntos.
survival,
Así que
obviously,
Argentina
with
va a
huge
tener que empezar a meter
expectations on
kill.
their shoulders, and 7th doesn't really reflect that.
Mínimo
It
unas
really
10
doesn't, and I
kills.
think you're bang on. I am worried. Like, I think there's something's not right in the team neutral camp. Like, I don't
O
know
5 y 5 en esta partida y tratar de eliminar a Turquía, porque si no,
the roles just
para quedar
don't
entre los
really
mejores
work
tres.
for the team that they have, and I
Ya viene
feel
muy
like
peleado esto.
maybe there's
Están
some
aguantando.
discourse when it comes to comms and
Están
decision
aguantando
making
los
when you've
puntos
got
la
so many
mayoría.
players who are used to
No
being
se
the
movieron
shot caller.
de sus
But
posiciones.
a lot of people, myself included, are not in a good space on fantasy because of the way neutral have been playing today.
Yeah,
No
no
se
doubt. I
movieron de su
actually
posición,
swapped
¿no?
them off my fantasy because I wasn't totally convinced by what they brought yesterday. Yes, they were in that top 8, but it wasn't looking great. But anyway, gentlemen, we are going to go to a break when we return. There is only
Vamos,
3 more
chicos.
games remaining for the survival stage.
Vamos, vamos.
Drunk.
Hello everyone, welcome to a sit-down game time with Bella, and with me is Team Canada. Woo! Do you guys know would you like to sing your national anthem for us?
Está muy peleado este chicos, Está muy peleado. Muy peleado. La verdad que
Thank you for sharing that
es
beautiful
para
moment with
cualquiera.
us.
Es para
Today,
cualquiera.
We will be playing charades.
Argentina
And
está
who would be
aguantando
our
ese
charader
cuarto
then?
puesto
Is that you,
desde
your choice,
el
or?
primer día de supervivencia.
Oh, okay. Team USA, quote unquote. said,
Argentina siempre
Team
está
Canada
llegando
will suck. They will
al
get
cuarto
5.
puesto con
Yeah, they don't
uno o
know
dos
shit
jugadores,
more.
más
He's
no,
got
no,
the moves.
o sea,
3, 2,
eh,
1, go.
Canadá también
Body spray.
no tiene muchos puntos, está último. También Japón está casi último. No, hay un montón de equipos que estaban primeros, que quedaron atrás. Y Argentina,
Yeah, you get 2 passes.
Ucrania, Dinamarca y Turquía son los
Window washing?
4 primeros jugadores que están ahí aguantando el podio.
Chugging? Drinking?
Y Argentina va a tener que meter mínimo unas 10 kills o tratar de robar kills para que se metan ahí en el podio, ¿no? Otra no queda.
Cowboy,
Spot on.
Western,
Yeah.
cowboy.
Otra no queda.
Ooh.
Nice. God, damn, that was quick. Spaghetti, eating, cereal, noodles, This was hard.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
There's kebab.
Kebab.
It's impossible.
Why are you using a spoon?
That can't be real. Huh?
Damn.
Guys, I hate to break it to you, but Team USA was right.
Yeah, we
That was
got
5.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
All right, well, thank you for joining me, Team Canada. Wave between 5, Team Canada.
There it is, the Google Play Point. These points get you more than a high score. Play, earn, and redeem them for exclusive rewards that supercharge your gameplay. Or score the latest must-have gear and up your game with sweet accessories. You're already winning. Now go get the rewards with Google Play Points. Redeem now and go reward yourself.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes,
Sí, pero bueno, viste cómo se... Salen de ahí y viene para el puje, mi.
Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac 2 technology. The new monitor
Y
series
pasa que
continues to
es...
evolve,
¿Cómo te puedo
refining
explicar?
details
Ahí
to ensure
tenés...
players can perform their best consistently in games.
Si vos conocés cómo juegan los jugadores,
배틀그라운드 세계관을 만끽하며
o sea, los jugadores rivales,
테마파크에 온 듯한 분위기를 만나실 수 있고요.
es fácil, ¿no?
처음 선보이는 PUBG 판타지는 여러분이 직접 자신만의 로스터를 구성해
Ucrania,
팬들과 경쟁하는 컨텐츠예요.
cuando se separa a Ucrania, muchos no...
경험을 하실 수 있습니다.
O sea, no es que se separan y se van uno por un lado, otro por otro. Se separan ahí y tratan de enfocarse en el enemigo, ¿me entendés? Si ven que viene, o sea, que está atacando a otro enemigo, tratan de acomodarse bien. Siempre son ellos. Siempre llegan los 4. Siempre llegan los 4 a lo último. Ucrania se metió en el podio con 124 puntos. Una locura. Es una locura.
유저분들이 언제나 새로운 즐거움과 가능성을 발견할 수 있는 환경을 만드는 게 저희 역할이라고 생각해요.
저희가 더 노력해야 한다는 거, 그리고 여러분의 게임을 만들어 나가는 이 팀을 믿어주셔도 된다는 것.
펍지라는 공통 분모 아래 전 세계가 하나 되는 순간을 계속 만들어가겠습니다. 여러분과 함께 만들어갈
펍지의 다음 이야기.
PNC 2016에서 만나보세요.
Quedan 3 rondas, chicos, Quedan 3 rondas. Quedan 3 rondas, chicos, Bien, chicos. Bien, 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 bien. Vamos, 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 vamos. Estamos
We're back, only 3 games remaining here. Ukraine looks amazing here as we are back at the desk. My name's James Carroll? Question mark? But anyway, we have got ourselves the opportunity here to see them completely donk on the lobby once again. But we did actually have an interesting kind of spot brought up here, Mark, whilst we were talking in the background. It being Rondo coming up, there's a chance we could see some movement.
It's not just movement, it's the opportunity that Ukraine could potentially push neutral out, because we know they're going to drop next to each other. This is the obviously midway point and the opportunity for them to actually close them out. Neutral have dropped down. They're in 7th place. And for Team Ukraine, they've got nothing to lose now. So why not be aggressive? Why not try and deny these opportunities, these players not to go to the final?
Vamos chicos, vamos. Viene,
let's get to it.
Viene
Already game A on the
la
way. We're ready
tercera
to Rondo.
partida del segundo día de Supervivencia. Vamos.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one, Mark. Rondo, I
Vamos,
think
Argentina,
you made the
vamos,
call.
vamos.
You think neutral might even drop out
Vamos,
of the
Argentina.
top 8 going into this game, and we spoke about it. The hot drop by test track between Ukraine and neutral. There are literally more reasons for Ukraine to push aggressively early towards them than there are for them not to.
Yeah, look, and is the circle going to be a factor into it potentially? And we'll have to wait and see. This plane path, though, is the south towards the north, but obviously going past Test Track and Linux Factory, where we expect both these teams to land. It's difficult. Like, I love every one of those players on neutral, right? And they are outstanding. They are all-star. But it comes back to what we said last time. They are, on paper, one of the strongest teams on here.
Tenemos una partida de Finlandia y una partida de Ucrania.
Work. Sometimes having all the best players on one roster
Segundo día de
doesn't always work out, Gibson.
Well, look at it all the time. The amount of times we go into tournaments saying this team should win it, that team should win it, and it doesn't happen because the games just aren't played on paper. And Denmark have decided to join the party. It looks like neutral have actually extended even further south. The back of that, they're going way deep. And the test track. I was not expecting this.
Whoa, that is a curveball. And Denmark, they were like, Ukraine, step aside. We want to deny neutral opportunity to the final because, again, they're a team that's qualified and it's forced neutral away, it's forced neutral into a corner, and they might be closed out.
This is Martin's idea, do you think? Do you think Martin just went, guys,
100%.
we're pushing neutral?
100%. Someone call Martin, get him on the blower. He must be the coach's call.
He was just like, guys, this is a great opportunity to wipe them out now. That's just
100%. Someone ask. James, get on the phone.
Yeah.
You need to have a coach call in. Ukraine dropped not too far away. And they've gone for obviously the drop's not too far away. Denmark obviously apply pressure. Neutral backs into a corner.
Yeah, now looking at the game last time around and how it was won, we see something. This FX flick was just nuts,
That's just
right?
Las mejores jugadas de
Back off the half pipe. And it's
Ucrania, chicos.
Marco didn't even land. They fixed
Mejores jugadas de Ucrania.
It's like those practice arenas that people have made, in the creation labs. Like, it's just so easy for Ukraine at times as they're just easily able to dominate the lobby. And look, they got the win. Someone was saying, we were having the conversation, would you class them as having won nearly every map, considering they got the most points in game 1 and game 2?
I agree.
Yeah. You probably could.
I think Matt's right. I think let's count that first game as a win because they did take the points. Neutral have completely disengaged, by the way, guys. They have left the area. They've got in a car. They've gone. Denmark is chasing them down, following the same route. And obviously, we're watching Ukraine at the moment. It's Ferris and Boosted, and the guys are still looting, so there's no change to them. But yeah, neutral, they're running.
Could you imagine a world where going this weekend you'd say that neutral will be pushed off their drop by both Ukraine and Denmark? Like, they have no loot. They've essentially made it all the way to Yulin as they push towards Zhao Tin. Like, they are not comfortable at all here, Mark. And I think
Gibson?
the team... Yes?
I was about to say, we've got news feed coming in, mate, from the production team. We get confirmation from Martin, the coach of Team Denmark. They talked about it. If they had 2 bad games today, they would make a difficult decision and they'd push. So actually from the coach, Denmark actively hunting down Team Neutral.
You know what? I'll allow it. I would have preferred to see him sub himself in at this point because they've already qualified.
Leading from the front.
Yeah, just go, Martin, go you be bait. Go be human bait. But I think looking at the map, Mark, and kind of what's happened, right? UK dropped really early. They dropped in Tin Long. It's where they dropped in this map. The circles shifted their way. Like, they have a free rotate all the way towards Hongshan as the nearest team to them is the Philippines, who are center of the circle. If Team UK play this right, there's another chance they could really put points on the board as Canada continue what's been a bright couple of maps for them, up to 17 points
Canadá
now. But
sigue último en la
look at
tabla.
that, they're still 15 points off it.
Acompaña India, Japón y Malasia.
We've seen that. If they can just embed,
Yeah, one game if
take
Ukraine
on the
weren't
power
playing.
of
One
Ukraine.
game of this team weren't there.
Come on, here we go. It's Denmark, his first versus second. Ukraine looking to try and double up their points on them. They've already pulled into the compound. Ketter's there. He's got that Panzer beam. He steps out, but he steps down. Boosted 1-2. Ketter does get defixed.
It's just they're bullying them. Ukraine have got 3 knocks now. It's all down to Ketter. He's got the Panzer, misses the shot with the launcher, and now they're all just corralling him into the spot. Ketter will try to throw a defensive nade, but Mark, for Denmark, this is not what they wanted. And I think this could be the game where Ukraine double Denmark's point tally.
It could be.
Ucrania eliminó a Dinamarca. Es la oportunidad de Argentina. Es la oportunidad de Argentina.
Compound. Denmark were chasing neutral, who went really far to the west. They've gone well outside the zone as they now work their way in. Argentina see towards sort of the opportunity. Ukraine is down, but without the knock, they do disengage Gibson. I think the right call there from Argentina.
Yeah, look, it's Ukraine. There was no real knocks, no real opportunity to really push on it. So I think Argentina, looking at their spot in 4th place, just go secure top 4, top 5 this game. Go get a good few points on the board and kind of have a bit more fun going into the final 2 games of the day. Finland up into 11th now after a much stronger start, but Mark, they are going to run into a bridge camp from Malaysia.
Yeah, Shen leading the charge. As you wait him, doesn't need to expose just yet. Finland obviously will be looking at this gun. They know that people dropped it over this way, but are they holding the bridge? Shen steps up, Scav though has to divert, and he goes for a full send off the bridge. Both sides though, Finland find opportunity just to find on the little island.
Opportunity missed maybe so far from Malaysia as Emp's going to step across and Sata will manage to find one. He gets that knock, and now this is looking really bad. One team fall each, make it 2 for Malaysia now as another kill comes in from Korexi, and this is really positive. This is probably one of the worst bridge camps we've seen in a long time.
It was down to sort of Shen to get that, but great reaction speeds though from the boys. Scav diverted one side, Sata diverted the other, and Sata able to put them down. So they've got to now try and figure out how do they get across and get Scav back up, but they've got time on the clock.
Hey Mark, we gotta so Sata would be how we'd say it, but you gotta put it with a Finnish Sata. And get the Finnish Sata. He gets it done. You want to learn some more Finnish? If you want to say, like, let's go Finland, Huva Suomi. That's what you say.
I need that one to you.
Yeah, you're like, I'll let the Irish accent butcher the Finnish, not the English one.
Yeah, Malaysia have disengaged now, so they give up on those blue chips they work their way towards. No, it's like Finland will get the opportunity now to get those bodies back up, and it was a good hold from them.
We'll watch it again.
Opportunity back. Look at this.
Yeah.
So this is a dream team. Look at that. It's off the half pipe though. Switch guns and catches him. Look.
La jugada que hizo,
amigo. Code Marco had no chance there.
2
hip fire. Easy for defense. Actually, I want to say Ferris fell off last game. Only 3 kills for him in the last map.
Jeez.
La aprendes a usar y es una locura, amigo.
Again, at what point? These guys are just having fun. They're just driving up on teams wherever they want to go at any time.
La tengo casi controlada.
Yeah, and then elsewhere around the map, we've got Turkey sitting in the center of the circle. Kazakhstan are right next door to Argentina. We've seen those 2 teams go head-to-head several times. And, well, Ukraine, they've also made their way into the center of the circle now. But big question for you, Mark. Neutral have been forced to go, and I think it was kind of posed in the chat by James. Neutral have now been forced to do a rotate they're not used to doing outside of test track. Like, how is that going to impact them playing this map from a side that they're not used to?
I think there's 2 decision-making factors that they know teams are now hunting them.
Es como mucha presión, ¿no?
Mindset. So that wide rotation
no sabes si frenar en algún lado es un ranked un poco más intenso.
But there's a difference now. They're not on the offensive foot. They're not the one that press the attack. They're in a defensive mindset. They're having to find safety. They're having to try and eke out some of these placement points. And the zone, unfortunately for them, shifts back the other way.
Yeah, Neutral are going to run right into a potential, drop if they want to get it. If they want to get themselves a crate weapon, that could help them out as Neutral, Australia, Chinese Taipei, Argentina all wrap in from the side as Finna looks to catch out Metabay from Turkey, who've been really slow off the mark so far. But Canada, they don't get the kill mark, but more importantly, they held their terrain, they held their territory, which will help them a little later on.
Also fighting around this sort of midpoint of the map. It is phase 2. Turkey taking some of the high ground as their position quite early. Ukraine coming from that north side of them, and not too far away, obviously, is that Canada. We saw a couple of shots. Back on the other side, though, in that sort of northeast corner, Finland do enter back in towards zone. Malaysia were disengaged. It doesn't take long before the action to kick off.
Ojo
Yeah, I was going to
Argentina.
say I expected Argentina and Kazakhstan to at least knock heads a bit, and
Capital.
Emmy is able to confirm out that kill that came in from Pipa. So Argentina moving up to 51 points now as Celtic's going to get caught out by Defex. Ukraine pushing up the hill line. Metaby speaking across the other side of the Gata. Can't get the knock on him just yet. Dips back into cover, but
Tranquilo, puedo
Finland
apunchar porque sabe que los puntos están todos muy
Just
lejos.
run. You know his Divix can be there. Divix actually puts down Hackatory because he wants all the kills for himself.
Está
Ferris has to be
relajado,
on the other side.
130
Turkey's making the
puntos ya
applying
tiene.
pressure though. Sheila comes storming over the hill, and Ferris has to reposition.
Yeah, but those are great shots on the side. Capitan third partying as well,
Capitan
doing
is
favors
muy
towards Ukraine as
Ooh.
Turkey will send it back into the compound, forfeiting those two blue
Está
chips,
saturando
forfeiting the
Turquía.
opportunity to wipe out your lobby leaders. But for Ukraine,
Acaban de
it's job
bajar
done.
a uno
Center
Ucrania.
circle confirmed. You've already got some spots dug up here as well by Turkey, who were playing the position. Ukraine just imposing their will on this lobby.
It is a fear that runs across
Symbol
the lobby when you
de
get pushed by
Canadá
Team
está
Ukraine.
tirando
Obviously, the fact
morterazo.
that they just tried to get out of there is not an option most people want to try and look at. What I find really interesting is a lot of teams looking to try and take the third party, but they're not helping each other out. Someone is stopping the third party action. At what point did the teams go, if they're pushing Ukraine, let them be and let's see what happens?
It's like playing Skyrim. You're just walking around minding your own business, and then the music starts and a dragon appears because that's just Ukraine coming in to cause you problems. But anyways, they will be center of the circle as things stand. Japan, who I feel like have been the most unlucky team in all of PUBG when it comes to rotates, as they just seem to be caught over and over and over again. They're going to be forced to go into the blue and find another way to enter, as it was Chinese Taipei pushing them back.
¿Cómo hablan estos muchachos?
Yeah, they're coming in the southwest corner now, don't they? Team UK hasn't moved all the way over here. They hold the southeast. India kind of thread the needle in between these two teams. So for Chinese Taipei, they're either going to clash against Team Neutral or they're going to clash against Team India shortly.
Yeah, Chinese Taipei, though, they're going to play the edge of Hongshan, or at least leave Savior in that point to kind of feed information to the rest of the team. Philippines gifted by that circle, as them and Ukraine are now very close to the center. But I'm looking at Team UK. They've moved in, they've had no pressure on them whatsoever, Mark. With the way all the other teams have rotated in, it could be in place for another good placement point game as Australia crash Argentina.
Pushando Argentina.
They do. They go for the crash. If it goes down, Neutral will find it. It's a duel of cars, though. Neutral trying to find a secondary, but it does go. Pippa and DraftKing will tick, and Luke's now down.
Yeah, Flood 3 HP as well. He dips back into cover, but Australia, their chances of qualification getting lower and lower as we see a great nade from Algin bots elsewhere. He's going to get that knock on the Jeans as the Philippines push towards Norway as well.
Yeah, it's backwards and forwards. Lots of action happening as the zone shift does work his way. Monty, though, final play here from Australia. Capitan puts him down.
Yeah, jumping back on over now. Norway still fighting with Philippines. Alec and CJ trying to lead the front. You've got one player down for Norway.
Locura,
Here comes Kazakhstan. They know that Argentina are down the one. They want some revenge, and Mark, they might just be about to get it.
This is a junkyard of cars. Capitan leaps out, but he gets put down. Kazakhstan, good play for them. Good third party and more cars. Just
lo que le hizo
jumping back on over now. He-Man
Argentina.
has fallen after a great nade from Algin bots, and Techers will try to re-push the fight back, but he does a molly right on top of him, and he's going to fall now as well. CJ getting another player dropped, and for 8C and for Norway, this might just open the door for them to fall outside the top 8.
Kazakhstan, Argentina,
I think he's cutting ties with his compound now, and he's sending it south. Unfortunately, he's going to send it into an EMP zone, so he has to get the momentum on the car before it comes to a grinding halt. Fexter coming over the hills, the Welsh Dragon now causing problems, and Ainsley, he's going to fall.
Yeah, Norway down and out. Now Japan are crashing India. Translucent's going to find that first knock, giving India a bit of an advantage, but Fevin jumps across the side. Goni's traded back though, and now there's two players up for one team, and Fevin's the last player standing out for the other. Unforgiven's low, but this is Japan. This is a big play from them.
Look at Chinese Taipei, they're coming in as well. They want the third party. We want the points as well. India down for 2, needs to get a med back on. Japan trying to close their way in. A Chinese Taipei where their car's about to breach on over.
Yes, you've got Goni is down, as really leaves Fevin as the last player up, and India's Unforgiven and Ryzen will want to deal with them quicker rather than later.
Nice.
Zeno stealing those kills away from Japan, or from India at this point in time, as Fevin's just going to smoke off and pick up the shotty.
Yeah, look, it's really good play for them. Chinese Taipei trying to take those additional points that they can. The EMP zone really stopping these other teams moving, which is good to see. And actually for Team UK, they wanted to try and get in the cars and also play a fair party, but unable to do so.
Yeah, shotgun now for Fevin, though. A couple of good shots could cause some problems, but he misses it. Unforgiven in India.
Es imposible Japón con escopeta.
They'll now just stay above
Te pusieron
Canada
entre
at
dos,
this
es
point in
imposible.
time.
Tener la
But
escopeta de
Chinese
2
Taipei
caños puede
surely
ser.
look to make the
Un
push. And
disparo cada uno.
actually, UK thought about third-party Mark, but I think that circle shift might see them go back towards T-Bone.
They were in the car straight away. It was the EMP that completely stops him. They would have been waiting for it to clear before they could get involved.
Australia.
For Fex, he might be able to find a way in towards zone. T-Bone's gone really far towards that
Y
east, as you
mientras que
can see, trying
Argentina
to
se
find
estaba reponiendo,
safety.
le
But at
cayó
what point does
Kazajistán
UK
y lo
sort of collapse that?
sorprendió.
Then they're shredded out here, they can get isolated and they get picked off.
Yeah,
El
Chinese
Kazajistán acaba
Taipei
de
trying to
sacar
thread the needle now through
la
neutral and the
carrera
Philippines as they make
argentina.
their way
Le quedan
north
2
towards
partidas a
Navi and Mike.
Argentina.
I keep saying that, like it's old habits, right? North towards Ukraine.
Le quedan 2 partidas
Zeno
definitivas a
will try to
Argentina.
find himself a position to play. Neutral, as
Y
much
estos
as they've
muchachos no me
tried
dejan
to avoid
escuchar nada,
Ukraine,
hablan
might just
como
find
locos.
themselves going into their waiting arms once more as Lunlun's going to get knocked.
Pero bueno,
Yeah, now they've
bajaron a uno de Chile
as
Taipei.
well. Kazakhstan's having a look at this. Ukraine is king of the hills at the moment, and they fought for it. They're going to rain fire down on the rest of these teams as Chinese Taipei are first to fall. Up to 10 kills. 10 kills already in this map. We're only phase number 4.
Akatori peeking down towards Kazakhstan as well, but it's just been madness here in Rondo so far. A doozy, great spray there with the AUG with the red dot. Will find IAM5. Now he's going to toss the nade over towards Ermac. The Coop gives away the position, but he hops in and he's going to get on the move, so that nade will not hit pay dirt Mark, and he's going to go for the hero res.
Yeah, nice play. Nice jump actually from a doozy using the smokes to try and take a step forward, but they need to take a few more. The zone is not in their favour. Neutral looking to try and make the push forward. Batorni's though outside of the car, looks for the opportunity. Shots come through, bounces the nade back, does the damage himself, and Lou able to find potentially the kill. Find his body, Lou.
He's going to get it. There we go. But the thing is, Mark, Neutral need this. They need to up the aggression with just a few maps left on the day, so they need to hunt down every single knock they get as Kazakhstan will fall. I think Hakatori, the one giving them the death blow as another team falls. We're almost in the placement point window now, as you can see Team UK getting themselves a nice spot just beside the Philippines, between them and Malaysia. And I'm seeing Finland, who've been much better today as well, also finding a pocket of space over on that eastern side.
I'm really interested now. Ferris has found the doozy, so they know where they are. Does Team Neutral, again, just fixate and focus on this other side? Well, for now, Finland trying to send in the car like steel. But IXE slowly runs over. Malaysia will fall in 9th.
Yeah, another kill on the board for Finland. They find themselves just 2 points away from getting into the top 8, and Fex looking to hold them back. Scab found in the distance, but Fex only lands 1 shot for 23 damage. And I think he just gets into cover behind that tree as the nades just push them back.
I love the guy behind taking notes with the camera. He knows it's a dream team here. Team UK only on 1 kill at the moment. They have got back together. Oh God, the nade was close, but Corexy just jumps away.
Yeah, Corexy with a much more gamer posture than T-Bone as well, who was sitting perfectly straight, but Defex finds a doozy as Ukraine.
Oh my God,
get another
Momo.
Hakatori gets Levante in neutral. Well, they're getting neutered here, Mark, if I'm being honest, making their way inside the circle, and this is their last chance. Dash, they're going to play this spot, but it ain't looking good for them.
Here we go, Ukraine. Look at them, they're even pushing. They know they can potentially stop any more kills. Grenade will come down, smokes have to go up. It's actually coming from the Philippines, from that sort of south side. They're causing problems. And Ukraine, W key down, neutral, final 2, and Hakatori launched the grenade.
As I said, they're getting neutered here, Mark. More nades getting tossed on, and 8 damage found on the Batu. And I think the Philippines are having a little peek, a little nosy as well. They think that they can get some points. A nade from the Philippines could be great, but it forces Lou back. CJ finds the knock as Batu will trade one back onto A. 2 teams battling to try and get this last point on the neutral.
Ukraine, they don't need to overextend. They know another team's entered in. As long as the neutral go out for them, it doesn't matter. Batorni's final player now, he's hitting the smoke, and there's only 1 smoke. So Ukraine locked in 14 kills, looking to make it 50.
Yeah, this is not good now. Batu, the last player standing. CJ's looking over. T-Bone will pick up the kill onto India as they're going to get eliminated. And we're in the placement points now is Fairest. He's going to toss that nade down towards Finland, who've just thought about getting involved in the action as well, but I think they see a better morsel in Turkey just beside them.
Finlandia.
There you go. Ukraine has taken out neutral. That is 15 kills for them. Turkey looking to try and do some damage. They roll in towards his north side. Finland already here. Komarko, final player. Sata, he's in the open, but he steps out. He steps across and he gets put down.
Yeah, Code Marco, last player up, and as you said, he's just going to smoke that one off. He wants to get this kill confirmed and get his teammate back on his feet. Marco and Shilla, the two most deadly players on this Turkey roster. Canada desperately want to get involved, but they just can't get the angles, and I think they're doing right, man. Don't give up the compound, because if you give it up, it allows UK a chance to backfill you.
Igual que Dinamarca, segundo puesto. Argentina tiene que empezar a meter kill porque lo está apretando Reino Unido. Neutral.
Sata gets the information that they've got the res back up. They're looking to try and deliver the grenade. Correxy is there. It is over the arm, not too far away. Looks for the second as well. First one should get the re-knock. It does get the re-knock. And it's the Kobe coming in from Corexy.
Yeah, chance now for Finland though, Mark. They can force their way into the top 8. The explosion of the chasing him. The car wanted it. Corexy has been flattened as that car just did not like him at all. And that moves Finland into the top 8. It's a 1 versus 1 with 2 points up for grabs in that fight, Mark. But Corexy, you're going the wrong way, my friend. Do not go towards Ukraine.
He can't drop the ball.
Tiene que tratar de ponerse del lado de atrás para que no quede en el fuego cruzado contra Ucrania.
Ferris looking, but doesn't want to give up the advantage. Not just yet. How much more, apart from kills, can Team Ukraine be fed? Are they going to get another zone shift? Because if it goes back their way, which it does, they are still king of the hill.
Yeah, it's just it's probably another win. Like, it's going to take something insane for Ukraine not to take the advantage. They've got the high ground, they've got the numbers. They've got 15 kills already, by the way, with still 17 players left alive in the game. This has been insane from the side. I'm looking at Team UK, Mark, like, what's their next move? Did they try to rush Philippines and try to get that before them on the other side of the road? Or do you fancy them maybe pushing a little further north towards Canada and Turkey?
So I would go into that dip, and with the Philippines, it's going to be difficult. They have to keep an eye, but they have the opportunity to rotate around and just keep an eye on Canada.
Muy bien el mapa, conoce muy bien los puntos de altura, las coberturas.
The solos are going to cause some problems. We know
sabe lo que tiene que lutear, lo que no tiene que lutear.
Is dangerous, and obviously we've got Code Marco from Turkey as well. Again, could cause some problems. So for me, Canada and Britain, it's going to be who moves first, and it might not be the best advantage.
But Mark, we're in a top 6, and the team that is top has the same amount of kills as the other 5 combined. Like, 15 kills between Turkey, UK, Philippines, Finland, and Canada. 15 kills for Ukraine. It has just been shooting fish in a barrel. Now, Code Marco, he'll set himself up a wall as Canada start creeping this way, and I feel for Canada, they need to take advantage here too, Mark. Another opportunity to get inside, the top 5, building points. Like, if they get another few placement points, another few kills, they've given themselves a chance with 2 games to go.
They have chipped away at that kind of gap they had, so we'll take it. It is match 8. We are a best of 10 for the survival stage. We are coming towards the closing stages of it. We're not going to end up on Togo, so expect a bit of chaos. The chaos is coming in Team UK. They have pushed towards that corner section, but they are applying pressure. Canada comes in a little bit first. Michael launches the first grenade. Looking for the second, goes over the hill, not too far away, but Hakatori is reminding everyone that they're still there.
Hakatori is just like, I don't care what you're doing, I'm still getting involved. Corexy, though, you said it. Just sneaking in behind Code Marco now, who's very distracted by the Canada push. So this could be an opportunity for Finland to get those extra points. But UK
tiene que seguir aguantando porque
Mark, as they push their way towards Canada.
Oh, he's actually shot over the top, though. Komarko is in the trench looking to try and get that confirmation. He's going to be disciplined, though. Has to go for the reload. Can't allow Corexy to get on his feet. Great comes through. Komarko entrenched and engulfed in the action.
Var steps over, and Canada are the first to fall. So the team with 4 players up get torn apart by the other 3 teams peeking their way. Code Marco is going to pop the first aid as he goes in behind that rock once more, trying to hold back Corexy with the stones. But what I love about this is Ukraine are just letting these teams to each other. They're playing for the victory here, Mark, because Code Marco and Corexy are now going to fight.
They are. Corexy does get the better of him. So for Team Turkey, they go out in 5th place. Ukraine 16 kills now, still on the high ground, looking on towards Team UK. Hakatori trying to give T-Bone the pedicure that he desperately needs, though, but a car providing the cover.
Hakatori, just look at the sightlines he has, Mark. It doesn't matter what perspective you're playing, and he can basically see everything that's going on over on this edge of the circle. Now, it does shift towards Philippines, which means Ukraine might have to walk a full 15-20 meters to make their way inside this next circle. But I like what Team UK
Así como
are doing.
mis
They know
espectadores
that
tienen su
Ukraine are on the
crítica,
high
yo también
ground,
tengo mi
and they're
crítica.
actually
Estos
trying to
muchachos
take the
hablan
fight to
mucho.
them on the high
No
ground
dejan,
rather than
no
getting
dejan
stuck in
sentir
the
esa
full blow.
tensión. La tensión de la música, la adrenalina de los últimos 4 partidos, los últimos 4 jugadores, perdón. Los últimos 4 equipos, esa tensión quiero sentir.
Crexy's run across the open terrain. For Crexy, he's just got to go head to head here. He's got to try and get another knock. He's got to try and be as disruptive as he can. For Team UK, they are locked in. What fears is Hakatori is going to get the final blow.
You can't take a knock. If Corexi manage to get a knock at all, that's going to be the signal for either Philippines or Ukraine to make their move towards Team UK. Now, one player is going to hop on out, so they leave one in the smoke, and they try to cause a distraction as the rest go across the road. Fex, the Welsh wizard, he's going to not even get it. It's denied by the blue.
Acaba de eliminar a Finlandia.
And now UK make their way towards Hakatori.
4-4
keep going up the hill. They find themselves in the top 4 again. For our
Filipina
team
tiene un jugador
Ukraine, they have
menos,
left the high
tiene
ground. They
por
are
lo menos
applying pressure
batir a
now. They
uno.
will send it down full force towards the Philippines.
Filipina está
It's a
jugando igual que
4 versus
Ucrania.
4 versus 3.
2-2.
And Team Ukraine are still up in here fighting.
4 kills apiece for each of the 4 members of Team Ukraine now as they look to just continue enforcing their will in the lobby. Philippines, they've got Algin bots way down to the south, playing on the edge, just on this corner of that compound.
Ucrania sabe que tiene que bajar. Filipinas está en muy buen puesto. Filipinas le está cayendo por atrás a Ucrania.
They don't really have a lot of utility left as far as explosives. They've got plenty of smokes, but they've
Están
already
tirando humo
used
para que
so
piensen
many
que están ahí.
I just like the consistency that
Ucrania se está metiendo en zona.
Now they come for the full charge.
Amigo, lo que le hizo.
He gets an opening here. The Philippines have to move.
Pero son de acero estos muchachos de Ucrania. Reino Unido está aprovechando.
Yeah, Ukraine down to 2
Reino
now.
Unido
This is
está
a big
aprovechando.
opportunity for the UK to really secure their spot
interesante
into
todo.
the weekend as CJ tosses the nade over towards the blue. Ukraine looking like it's all falling
Filipina
apart now
aprovecha.
for them in this map. CJ can't quite land the
Quiere
shots.
llevar
The
los
smoke
puntos de
providing
Ucrania.
cover mark, but the nollie will be tossed. And that might be the time for
Reino Unido
Philippines to
está
get the
apoyando.
res.
Sabe que la
WK
oportunidad.
down. Come on, Team United Kingdom. We need to convert up. Philippines will fall.
Afuera
It's falls
Filipina.
in the hands of Team Ukraine. The grenade goes over the
Bombazo,
top. Secured
amigo.
on the board here. Ukraine looks to try and close things, but they are closed up
Ucrania,
against
Ucrania
the
no se deja intimidar, Ucrania no se deja intimidar por Reino Unido.
So much damage being put on, and they get the knock on the T-bone.
Amigo.
3 versus 2 now. The rest of the UK wrapping up onto the high ground as Vard misses the opportunity to find the knock, but this is a big chance for
tiró
Ukraine
más
to still
dama.
fight back.
Yeah, Michael looks for the other angle though. He rotates his way
Ucrania
around. The
pushea,
grenade
Ucrania
comes
pushea,
up
no
on
se
the other
intimida.
side. Vard on the hold.
Ucrania
Ferris is
pushea,
there.
no se
He takes
intimida.
huge amounts of damage.
Hakatori!
Hakatori. Oh my God, puts Vard
No.
down. It's a 2 versus 2, but no.
No,
Fex
2
gets
contra 1.
Wanza.
Yeah,
Vamos,
Ferris,
vamos.
he's got 28 health points. He
Dos
doesn't have the
contra uno.
time or the space to go
Ucrania
for
no se
that
deja
med
intimidar,
kit.
eh.
So he's going to toss the nade. Maybe buy himself some more time.
Vamos,
You can
vamos,
see
vamos,
Michael
vamos.
has the angle, but he's going to pop now. Go prone. Give himself some cover. Fex wrapping on the other side, but the smoke just keeping him hidden for now. Ferris in the 1v2. Ferris is going to step on up here, Mark. Ferris gets another, and it's a 1v1 for the win.
No, 1 contra 1.
Oh my God, the Welsh Dragon has to go back. He
contra
hasn't got a
1.
helmet. He
Lo
swaps
que
over
juega
though.
Ucrania,
Ferris
amigo.
limited as well.
Lo que
Doesn't
está
have the
jugando
best, but
Ucrania.
a 1 versus 1 in the end. The opportunity though is he can go get the
Tiene
res
que
if
dar
he
revivir al
needs to.
compañero, porque
The
si no
Welsh
queda
Dragon
fuera.
takes a breather and takes the opportunity
Ucrania no
now
pushea.
to get the
Ucrania
IGL
no
back into
pushea,
the
no
fight.
tiene
And
granadas.
now if you get yourself back up to it too, the most important
Va a
thing
querer
for
rematar a
Team
ese.
UK is to not
Move.
line up.
He's
Dude,
got it.
don't play in each other's pockets though. If you play in each
Mala
other's
idea,
pockets, you
Ucrania,
give the
mala
chance
idea,
to Ferris.
Ucrania.
Ferris goes to 1 HP.
Reino
Yes, he
Unido
falls, and
le
the
acaba
UK
de
take the
ganar la
win.
partida a Ucrania.
It's
Dios
9 kills
mío,
and
amigo, lo que está
19
esta
point
partida.
game here. And James Mack come back in, but more importantly,
Amigo,
James,
boludo,
cue
lo
the
que
music.
está
It's a
esto.
UK win.
Rule Britannia! Sorry, I'll stop.
Lo que está esto, amigo. Lo que está esto. Equipo completo. Ucrania casi se los lleva. Estaban en el 1 versus 1. Y Reino Unido optó por salvar al compañero.
Oh, Ukraine, what can you even do to stop
Las
these guys?
mejores jugadas de
Apparently,
Ucrania.
if they just drive down a hillside, jump on top of another squad, then UK gets an opportunity to take it because Ukraine off the start this one,
Australia
it felt like
con
everybody was after
Argentina.
neutral.
Argentina
But
dejó
Denmark
afuera
and
Australia.
Ukraine just ended up going after each other.
Yeah, people seem to be forgetting who is able to conquer the world. All right, it was great. We're a bit useless now, but it was Great Britain once upon a
Argentina
time.
dejó fuera
That's
Australia
right.
y ahí
With
aprovechó
Gibson, this is,
Kazajistán.
I will say
aprovechó Kazajistán, amigo, y lo sacó a Argentina afuera. Argentina le quedan 2 partidas, nada más, le quedan 2 partidas para tratar de pasar a Turquía y quedarse en el puesto número 3. Pero como viene esto, está muy peleado. Finlandia ya viene llegando. Ha ganado una partida y quedó en el 4.º puesto. A Ucrania no le pueden sacar el podio todavía. 141 puntos, 15 kills. Turquía se quedó con 65 puntos y Argentina está ahí nomás, Argentina está ahí.
Extremely consistent today on a climb of themselves, making sure to secure themselves a good overall position on the leaderboard. A couple of other independent climbs are happening across this. You can see also a slide coming out because Australia has been just having like a struggle bus going on. Malaysia, even with Shin trying to set up bridge cams and trying to as much take the rest of the squad on his shoulders, just can't seem to find it.
Fischeri juega muy bien, amigo.
Consistency against everything else going on around Ukraine. And United Kingdom just on
Reino
a
Unido.
massive come up, creeping up and stealing 4th place now, G.
I mean, this kind of win is probably going to secure them top 8, right? With
Amigo,
only
pero
2 more games remaining, this
tienen
is
una
massive
precisión que te
for
disparan
Great
con
Britain
una mira al
after
4.
looking back. I'll put my flag back on
No,
actually
amigo,
whilst doing this.
tenés que tener muy buena
Unbelievable,
Es una
realistically
locura.
speaking, because I genuinely thought, Mark, they were down and out yesterday. I didn't know whether they were going to be able to recover, but here they are.
Que estos muchachos no hablan un montón, boludo.
It didn't see it.
No te dejan escuchar nada. Posta, Yo sé que ustedes quieren escuchar los disparos, quieren sentir esa tensión, la música. O sea, yo no sé si ustedes la aprecian bien a la música, pero yo escucho bien la música de lo que es la tensión.
El
Reino Unido metió, Reino Unido se metió.
And then talk about Ukraine again because you know
Se metió.
crazy. But Fex with 759 damage. The problem is though, Gibson, I think as much as he's been able to put that
Metió
up,
con 8 kills, aumentó 8 kills, la verdad. Partida ganada, son casi 10 puntos.
With 7 kills was it in the end? 8 kills. He was nuts.
Bien,
look,
bien,
you know,
bien.
I'm a fan though. I'm glad we've started giving the MVP to the most impactful player. Not, never mind. You know, never mind giving it to someone who wins. So I'm
MVP, todavía
happy
Ucrania sigue sacando MVP cuando ha perdido la partida.
The kid's insane.
Perdió la partida y sigue MVP. Es una locura lo que juegan estos pibes.
They're on the high ground, still plenty to actually play in for again as well. I think that I've spoken to a few people even throughout the day today that are off this broadcast right now, and a lot of people are just saying Ukraine's going to win this tournament. It's not just the survival stage. If they're playing like this, they are going to win this tournament.
Yeah, I'm with you. Definitely be in the fantasy pick for the finals and no
puntos, quedamos en el sexto puesto con 5 kills, sacamos 5 puntos nada más en esta partida. Reino Unido sacó 20 puntos, Filipinas sacó 10, Finlandia sacó 9, Ucrania es el que sacó 26 puntos por la mayoría de kills, amigo, hizo 20 kills en esta partida, no pudo ganar la partida pero aún sigue primero. Tabla global de posiciones, Reino Unido acaba de pasar a Argentina. Le sacó el cuarto puesto a Argentina. Argentina va a tener que hacer algo en estas 2 partidas que le quedan porque se está alejando mucho de los 3 mejores. Lo tenía Turquía ahí nomás. Reino Unido se está acercando a Turquía por el tercer puesto y está ahí nomás también de Dinamarca para tomar el segundo. No creo que lo alcance a Ucrania porque tiene 150 puntos. Pero nos quedan 2 partidas todavía para tratar de alcanzar el segundo puesto. Nos quedan 2 partidas.
They've got more points than the bottom 6 combined so far. But beyond all of that, I think our attention really does need to turn to what is going on below 8th and between that and 16th, right? Because those teams at the moment are all totally in this danger zone here, Gibson. There's big names down there. Still Australia, now not in that top 8. So there's other teams that need to jostle for position here.
Yeah, I think I just want to highlight the damage first to answer your question. Like 16,000 damage is insane. But you look at the bottom 8. I think all of us are in agreement. If we were picking our top 8 going into these 2 days, there's at least 2 or 3 teams in the bottom 8 that we thought would have been shoo-ins to make it to the weekend. So I think for like Australia, for neutral, like this is a really tough game. Even Norway, you maybe would have thought a bit more would come from them, considering how many or how big the player base is in that country. This is going to be a tough 2 maps for these teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think even also if you think about you were saying it before, Mark, the fact that Japan's win is basically the majority of their points, right? They're in 14th place, but they have a win. That's crazy to think
Dinamarca está aguantando.
Yeah, and there's that one game that it's gone back to those early games we saw yesterday.
Dinamarca
They're not getting the
estaba
zones, they're unable to find their
aguantando
way
su
in. They're
segundo
spending more
puesto.
time rotating.
Le están pisando
So
los
they're not being
talones,
able to adapt to this kind of update to these
Le están
hard
pisando
zone
los
shifts.
talones a
UK never had
Dinamarca.
bad day number one, spoke to Debo, and it was about
Dinamarca tiene que meter por lo menos un podio
we need to find a way into the zone or find a way
para
to
tratar de alejarse de Turquía, y el Reino Unido lo viene pisando. Argentina se acercó por 5 puntos.
At what point is the cutoff at?
At least for those teams down at the bottom, the cutoff point is going to be
Argentina
even
lo
more
sacaron por
severe
5
or close
puntos.
to them because of the way in which Ukraine has been able to soak up this many points. So that, for them, gives them a bit of a lifeline. For teams like Norway, for teams like Australia as well here, Matrim, they're just so close. Chinese Taipei as well, who's been able to get to some of these later game situations, but not quite into that top 8 just yet, but it's just in reach.
And see, what worries me is with squads like Australia, we haven't necessarily seen them trying to, like, I guess, take control over their own destiny, take the firefights or anything else like that. They're finding themselves in very awkward positions that other squads are kind of pouncing on them and just instantly wrecking them. Chinese Taipei, we've at least managed to see them rally a solid defense and a couple of crashes. So
Vamos chicos, próxima partida.
At this point, with
Próxima partida. Y esto se viene en Miramar. Esto se viene en Miramar, chicos. Vamos a Miramar.
Survival stage, and our attention can't truly be on Ukraine anymore. We know what they're up to.
Anteúltima partida.
Shoot everything. Thank you very much, Mark.
Vamos.
Gibson. We'll
Vamos
talk to you after
Argentina.
this
Vamos Argentina.
game.
Vamos.
Me and here to bring you the Dusty Dunes.
Okay, plain path, pretty much anything available. No big scary thing that's going to be going on to this. It's just going to be about how well can you dodge the rotate from Ukraine. And I think that a lot of squads are probably having to make some quick decisions based off of that because we've seen such a dominant performance coming out with Ukraine. They don't care. Even if they crash you and die, they can ruin your game. So you have to be playing not only the map, not only the circles, not only the other 14 teams other than Ukraine and yourself, but you also have to be constantly going, where does Ukraine go next and are they going to screw me over?
But that's the funny thing about that theoretical, because oftentimes, yes, we would say, even if they crash you and die, but guess what would happen because it's Ukraine? They would crash you and definitely not die. You're wiped off of the map at that point. It's a meteor hitting you and you're the dinosaurs. So, like, you want none of it. Absolutely none of it. And it is one of the only times that it has almost become a true fact in these games. But look at this, the rise up from Great Britain so far here.
Bueno, chicos, métanse en la partida ya, muchachos.
Here to be able, I cannot believe it. I am a little bit flabbergasted. I'll use all those silly things to describe this so far. It's crazy stuff.
Did you see the little special thing that popped up down the bottom left-hand corner was
says that
Michael gains superpowers whenever he eats Korean fried chicken, and I'm wondering how powerful the aroma of his superpowers are.
Well, he's British, so, you know, probably quite powerful. I will say, actually, while that has been going on, Denmark taking power grid, that is cheeky. Martin and the Danish boys have been cooking something up as well on the other side. It's not some Korean fried chicken, but it might be fried neutral here at the moment. Pushing them off is... They're causing even more problems for Neutral, who clearly is a team to be respected, so I completely understand why they're doing it.
I mean, we all know the fact that Batulin's levels up the longer an event goes on. He just gains more and more experience. He finds ways to get more and more points for his team. So trying to eliminate that squad, but while they're not a threat, is a great strategy. Whenever we also are looking at a circle like this that is very northern set, that means that Argentina is going to be kind of close to center. Oasis is just kind of off center. That gives you an idea of how far north we are going to be looking at. That means that Neutral does have some options in rotate, so even having power grid taken away, if Neutral can get there and loot fast enough, they can still be competitive.
Well, you know what's actually super interesting? And they might actually pivot mindset-wise here for a Neutral whilst we're watching these highlights go down of the previous game, but there's really interesting things happening. Neutral is going straight up, threading the needle between Chinese Taipei and Finland, and going to old Cobbers, La Cabrera. And that actually is a rotation path on a circle like this, which first is just good in general, but that's actually where a doozy has a lot of experience rotating in from, so maybe they can like mind meld here and be able to have some decent purchase on a circle like this because of those kinds of experiences.
I'm curious to see if Chinese Taipei goes for any shots on this rotate, because Chinese Taipei and Neutral are very close to each other. It does look like there's going to be more of a Western set coming out from Chinese Taipei. They don't want to make any commitment, but with being able to take down or do any damage to Neutral actually affects their game in a big way, because it puts them back into a better position to try to climb on the leaderboards themselves. Argentina holding down center is going to make it a little bit harder for Great Britain, that just managed to usurp their position into 4th place. But it's all going to be about how this plays out, because there's a lot of verticality in the circle down into the southwest. But then if you look into the north, mostly flat around Oasis, going all the way
mostrando la jugada de arriba que el compañero
very, very flat, moving in a Crude Valle.
no tenía
So
casco,
this circle can do a couple
le
of
dio el
jukes
casco
depending on how it opts to go for these next couple of circle pops.
y fue a
that can
pushar
really
para que el otro
dictate
compañero se
entirely
cure.
different
Bien,
behaviors
eso
in
fue, o sea, fue una buena estrategia eso.
Now all those teams towards the bottom here need
esos
to
puntos hay que
knock
tomar
some of these
también,
barrier teams off
esos
of their
puntos
purchase.
son buenos,
As
me
Chinese
gustan.
Taipei, Norway, Australia,
O sea, si estás
especially,
abatido y
it would be a
sabes que te
shame
están
if
pushando
someone like
y
Tiggleton
tu
and the
compañero
Aussie
no tiene
boys were
chaleco o
able to do
casco,
a
es mejor
shoey here and
tirarlo y
there.
que por lo menos pelee lo que tenga que
Center of the
pelear.
circle. What's going on? What that center of the circle? Center of the map.
Muy buena
Every
esa.
single time. Always
Me
get
gustó.
center of the map. What's going on?
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Y
it's
lo
tough
veo
one,
muy
right? Because,
jodido,
like,
una victoria, pero por lo menos
obviously
quedar
bring
en
in some
segundo
names.
puesto.
Obviously Monty doesn't have as much
El
international
tema acá
experience.
cuenta
Technically,
mucho la
Fluid
kill.
12 do, but I
Cuenta
don't
mucho la kill.
check in with guys
Ucrania
like
viene
Flood as
metiendo
much anymore, right? I
15,
used to talk to him a lot
16.
about things. I don't know how much they've been playing and
No,
stuff
viene
like
metiendo
that.
más
I
de
was
10
watching some of the
kills.
scrims, you know, or some of them playing together in terms of ranked
A
and pubs and
Ucrania
stuff
también lo
like that.
salvan
And the
el
vibes
win
were
y
good.
las kills.
That's for
Recién
sure.
terminó segundo, hizo kill y
Oh,
que
can you
sigue
imagine,
primero.
given the way that the nature of the beast and how Falcons are, if Australia doesn't make it?
No
Like,
estamos
I
muy
don't feel as bad
lejos
for Luke 12 because, you know,
del
like the
segundo
vibes on
puesto.
Team Liquid, they'll be
Hay que
chilling with
meter
each other
kill.
no matter what. You know
Argentina
the
está
banter on
sobreviviendo.
Falcons,
En 3 partidas
if
metió
Tig doesn't
3 kilos.
qualify, is going to be massive.
No está metiendo mucho.
It's UK level banter. It's as if they
5
hate
kills,
each other when you're
3 partidas metió
when you're
5
watching them
kills.
stream together. Like, and
eso
I think
no-
it's only
no
got worse
favorece.
with Gustav on the team, actually, honestly, because he's just, well, as he likes to say vampire maxing, because that's kind of the person he is.
I've never heard that term for him before, but that's so good.
No, sí,
Yeah,
olvídate.
he's a
Igual
ridiculous human
nos
being. But like
falta,
they're
hay
just
que buscarlo.
constantly lobbing bombs at one another. It's just
Equipo.
shell after shell. So
que
there's a
seguir
lot of
buscando
banter on the
gente
Falcons roster. And yeah,
Joder.
you're right. It won't stop if Tig doesn't qualify for the final.
All right, Finland, what you guys got in the tank? You're in good position, pretty close to the center of the circle as well. Just playing offset from Argentina, running a 2-2 split. A lot of squads are already kind of cemented into position. Norway's just going to be over to the northeast of where we're looking at with Argentina. Japan actually playing a bit north of that position, while we've got Kazakhstan just off the side. Neutral playing the open areas very far up to the north, so should be comfortable for now, but also does provide some rotates. If it does, like the circle does go east, Neutral does have a lot of decent rotate potential,
Claro,
whereas a lot
esa
of these
es la
other squads do
partida.
not.
Ese fue el.
Well, as I was kind of talking about it, right? As we
primer
take
día.
a look at good old Fairist looking amazing alongside Ukraine as well. Again, with what Aduzi
Mío,
has,
metieron un
no
total
doubt
de
the chats are
26
going on in that
kills.
team, right? Like, this is technically an old question mark rotate. When Aduzi leads that team back in the day, before they were BB team, and of course, and then became Seoul. So there's a world where they are well versed up there, and if they do well from up there, I can only assume it's because of some of that knowledge, aside from just being fantastic players.
Time to be nervous. Ukraine has entered the circle. They are coming in from the
Hasta ahora
southeast.
no se
Closest
cruzó
teams
nadie,
to them are Great Britain as well as Malaysia, but
Hasta
there is
ahora
at
no
least
se cruzó
compounds in
nadie,
front of them, so might not see any firefights between them. Denmark's going to be on the other side of the road to the west, but also has some high ground control. No real need for these squads to kind of go up against each other just quite yet.
No se cruzó
Teams
nadie por
outside the
ahora.
circle are going to be Philippines, India. Turkey's just right on the edge of it. I think they're making a rotate, and Team Canada, while the Aussies are rallying down to the south.
And here we are on with them at the moment. I won't be surprised if it's not just Denmark that's looking at Neutral as someone to get rid of. I mean, you go through this roster, right? Batolins and Aduzi, two of the greatest IGL minds in EMEA history, if not the world. Lou and Levante. Lou, who is one of the greatest fraggers of EMEA history, if not the world. Levante, who really is kind of the upstart star alongside this roster as well. And every time you watch him on Vitality now, he really is their linchpin. So I think a lot of teams have got their eyes on hoping Neutral doesn't make it through to the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said by even trying to deny Levante more LAN experience or even the capabilities to work around Batulins and the rest of the squad, right? Because this is a great growth opportunity for him. kind of figure out how these other squads navigate their IGLing, where he can find, where they want to try to put him for capabilities to really pop off. Is we are finally getting all of the squads to rotate in, as India's going to be right on the edge, Canada back behind them.
Canadá está apretando a India.
I'm still eyes drawn to Ukraine as it is just sharks in the water, getting closer and closer as the circle keeps up into the north and Oasis stays pretty center.
Okay, you know what's really wild about this is the fact that we, coming into PNC, we have those circle changes. Oasis oftentimes is a spot where, and also that northern wall, is a spot where you generally shift away from in terms of circles 4 and 8, respectively. Now, there's a world where we go crazy north on a circle like this, and who might benefit? Philippines is already going on for that wide round. India's coming in behind neutral. That might be a good opportunity for them to get some points if neutral sees them moving up there. This could be a really spicy Miramar.
No hay kill todavía, no hay kill.
Australia just rolls right up on top of Denmark. It looked like maybe Denmark was thinking about coming back after them. Everybody jumped in vehicles and started looking back to the south. So Australia, you managed to get into the circle. Denmark's going to have a pretty decent path ahead of them. It's just going to be Chinese Taipei, who's already making a movement of their own. But I agree. I love the fact that we're seeing more and more of an Oasis focus coming out of this. Getting a little bit more variance in circles is tons. It's tons of fun to watch. But Malaysia, you're in some trouble. Do you know it?
Wait, no, leave them alone. That's Great Britain. No, it's fine. I mean, they're probably going to be qualified anyway. But yeah, this is, for Japan, obviously very important if they can maybe snag a few kills here and there. As I said when we heard the interview at the beginning of the day, we don't get too much of a glimpse of a window into the Japanese scene too much. Obviously, they get like 1 or 2 teams into what is a wider regional to be able to qualify into some of the tournaments. Like, for example, in PMS, where we had some teams qualify for EWC. We see India moving in below neutral. I think they're quite concerned about going for a further wrap. I think they did see players up there from neutral.
Yeah, and India and Japan both in a similar fashion, where these players can come in, get a lot of LAN experience, carry that back over into their regions, help the overall growth of their regions.
Yeah.
So while there's not they are sitting not necessarily the best spots on the leaderboard, this is really big for their teams and really what they can take back to their regions and allow a lot more growth, because I know that there's big eyes on India as potentially being another big growth market for PUBG.
Yep, and again, you know, I felt like they'd be able to do a bit better than their previous PNC showings. Technically, they have already, obviously still in 15th, but, you know, you're going up against teams that have got crazy wealth of international experience, as well as a lot more experience in terms of tenure, like years behind them. So it's slow pace, slow going for these teams at the moment. Canada, though, should technically be above 16th.
Yeah, okay. But they're getting closer. They're getting closer. Just 2 points away now. All right, looking at this circle. Okay, we've got Oasis pretty close to center. Then there's going to be the hillsides just to the south of it, where we've got Norway, Finland, all that other stuff. Turkey's going to be playing off the side of it. Another set of pretty big hills. Most notably around where Denmark's going to be playing. There's some verticality that really pops off over to the southwest. But it is flat to the north. We keep Oasis in, but we juke over into the east, where Ukraine already has a foothold.
That's not good for neutral. They know now they're going to have to thread the needle and go through some of these teams, or maybe they crash into Oasis. What are they going to do? You can see them on that northwest side at the moment here, already in cars. They weren't exactly pre-driving, but they were ready to go as soon as that circle did move. As we take a look at a predictive path on how these teams might move things forwards now. As this could create some conflict. But the one thing about those hills along on the south side of Oasis is they can harbour quite a lot of teams, but a lot of it is nade bait. So you can have some devastating damage come your way if you're not careful. Yeah, neutral will come into Oasis.
But they had eyes to go more south, to get across the road, then pulled off of it. I think it's because they saw Philippines or something else like that, and they wanted to set up position to maybe defend out Philippines in a rotate. They still have a doozy that's on the other side of the road, but now Turkey is going to be coming down from high ground, potentially into Oasis. Canada is going to be back wrapping behind them. External from this one, we also do have a couple of firefights. You can see Denmark taking shots into Malaysia while they've got Argentina right on top of them. But Australia has to come in from the south. Chinese Taipei, India, Turkey, and Canada all really have kind of dicey rotates here.
Well, normally I'd be like, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity for neutral to get some kills on the board against Philippines, but that's absolutely a lie considering the overall leaderboards right now. Philippines has been great. They've been doing really well for themselves, so I don't know for neutral so far. Gonna have to find their feet underneath them here, as they are now in Oasis. Meanwhile, TKE going up against Canada, trying to hold them out. Canada being slow on this west side. Monster starts things off against Chinese Taipei. Savior goes down. Not a bad one to take down at all, but there's more reinforcements coming forwards. And Monty is gone just as fast as that. Little ones, take him away. Should be able to get Savior up, maybe. Oh, no, he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what Australia wants to do from here. As Chinese Taipei with this long wrap, it's going to feel good because you managed to get away from the cluster that's over into the west. But guess what? Guess who's shooting you now? Oh, that's right, it's Ukraine. This is not the way you wanted to approach the circle.
Ah, yes, the Eye of Sauron that sees all and, unlike Lord of the Rings, doesn't let the ring through into Mount Doom. Actually just stops Frodo in his tracks, takes the ring and conquers the entire world.
Yeah, just runs back over into all the Elvish lands and burns down their cities just to get Frodo early.
It's the bad ending.
It is the bad ending. In Chinese Taipei, you're getting the bad ending right now. Because, you did manage to dodge out Ukraine, but now you get Denmark. 2 still up. Where do you even go? Next up on the gauntlet is going to be Malaysia, but there is at least a stop-off dip if they can get there.
Guys, why didn't they just fly them in with the Eagles? No, Ukraine's already shot the Eagles out of the sky. They're gone. Lynx AMR straight to an Eagle.
It's not even a Lynx, man. He was just a straight-up M16 coming from Hakatori. Shot them all down. They don't even need that.
At 800 meters. I'm like, how do you hit those shots, Hakatori? What are you doing? The Eagle falls out of the sky. Oh my God, we're going Oasis. No way, no way, no way. Please.
Okay, so good news for us is we get Oasis. Bad news for everybody in the southeast. That means that Ukraine has to move, and Great Britain's going to be right on top of them. Argentina's going to have to make a rotate. Finland's caught up looking at Turkey neutral, though. Already inside the circle, feeling pretty good. Philippines has spotted out Canada, and that's going to be 2 easy shots coming up from Aya.
He's been the MVP of the squad so far, doing so much work for them here. And now Canada might feel the sting once again. Shimboy, though, does take down Alec. Here comes Philippines for a little bit more, though. And CJ do finish them off. Canada down and out in 16th. As clean as that, and can get Alec up. But I will say here, Matrim, this is our new Circle 4 fully in effect. Normally it would completely shift away from that water in Oasis. Now it's still in. There's still a chance for Oasis finish.
Okay, India's got to figure out how to get in the circle. Argentina on one side of it, at least some cover, but this is not going to be inside the circle yet. Denmark also gets some vision, throwing in some assistance. There is nowhere to go, as it is just a spattering of Indian players all along the hillside. You managed to make it in, Snipehall, but that is just going to allow you to get knocked by Norway.
Yeah, okay, so if anything, if this is to follow for the leaderboards, next is Japan on the chopping block, we'll see, as we just work our way up slowly. It might be Australia, though, as they've walked into the Eye of Sauron once again.
Tig.
The effects does go down from Tig, okay.
They managed to do something. Somebody has managed to hurt Ukraine slightly. Or at least slow them down. Where do you go, Denmark? It's going to be Argentina other side. Malaysia's taking the shots. MT does get the knock on to Gustav, but Tig, man, you're kind of trapped over here.
Oh, no! Oh, he's seat swapped into the nade! Tig, oh, dear me. Down in 14th in this game. At least Defex is gone for Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, this is small victories right now. Neutral actually making an aggressive play onto the Philippines' positioning. This is a hunt for points. We saw them kind of go for a more aggressive stance. Aduzi's kind of playing external from this, taking shots down. It does manage to spot out Alec. That's going to be more as Chinese Taipei now.
Interesting. Feels like this fight was brewing for quite a while, and Aduzi took a far off angle on a 3-1 split compared to the rest of neutral, and has found an off angle here against Philippines in quite a smart way. So that's actually kind of causing Philippines to slow down a little bit. Gonna have to get that recovery down, but now Aduzi will rendezvous back with the rest of the team. So not a bad start there for neutral.
Oh, little mini rivalry as it is going to be Finland and Norway lined up against each other. It should provide Argentina a capability to sneak in, as well as Denmark right next to them. And a couple of nades coming out, making it a bit scary, but Finland! Sata does spot out Techers. That's going to be a nice knock, and now Norway is trying to rally back together. Team's way across from everything, trying to have a side angle to defend his teammates. Could provide enough to slow down Finland, but it is starting to get spicy down there in the south. It is Argentina does manage to spot out what's going on with Denmark and eliminate them.
Argentina lo que está
haciendo,
lo sacó
really
a
well
Dinamarca.
done to shut down Denmark on that move. Denmark felt a little bit desperate on that south side, but again, they know that for day one they were completely done and threw in that top A. Now it's going to be Great Britain also on the march here, trying to make something happen, going up against Ukraine on the other side. Do get hit by Runax here from Japan, though. Shooting some shots in from downtown. Just back off a little bit. Technically, they are not in the circle here, so Great Britain's got some work to do.
Finland making a more aggressive push, does find another one. 8C is going to go down. That means that Norway has to surrender the territory with the circle pop. It means that James is also pretty centered onto the circle. Finland's going to be inside a good position. Not really too much else that they have to worry about. Turkey, though, has to get in the circle pretty close to them as they're being held out by Kazakhstan. So a potential firefight going on over there. But Great Britain, who's been on a come-up today, now lines up against Ukraine, who is weakened. This could be really big for Great Britain, allowing them to start stepping into range to go after Turkey on third place.
Still hunting it down. They've got an opportunity. I think that what's important is that, okay, so they see boosted get as well. This might trigger a response here from Great Britain pretty fast because they knew defense was down earlier. They knew that Ukraine was weakened. Now they know they're even more weakened. They're only just concerned about pushing on forward. But here comes neutral now. Trying to crash on Philippines, trying to make something happen. CJ with a pre-nade as well as some spray goes down. It's not bad at all. He does take down a doozy. Aya down low from Levante. Neutral needs to clean this up fast and get these reses on.
Oh, they've got the angle into it. Picks it up, and there you go. They should have time to get the reses. Japan's trying to get involved in a lot of stuff right now, and I think that they're going to pull away from this. Just go eyes onto the circle. Great Britain has an option now with Japan that went more after neutral. They have a path to get in the circle themselves, but it looks like it's going to be a clown car run in, and that never feels good. Just 6 points now behind Turkey.
Well, they're super cautious about this because they know they've got one car, but they also know it's Hakatori if they've been kill feed tracking, right? Yep. So they know he's lurking somewhere, and they know exactly what he's capable of. As now he's charging up a nade. They're all in the same dip. This could be absolutely disastrous if this connects. And he's going to go for it. It could be a triple. Oh, it bounces off. But he does get one spray on Specs. Michael goes down as well. They know what he's capable of. You cannot underestimate this man.
T-Bone getting cooked right now as it is just Hakatori against all of Great Britain. This is contained. He's fine. He's got enough cover back behind him. He just wanted to double check that nobody was going to want to rotate from Malaysia getting involved. That is his vulnerable angle that he has to be worried from. Neutral makes a send into the circle right in between all of Japan. Could be a problem, but Hakatori has a push coming after him. Does manage to get another knock.
Michael finally finishes it off, but look how many problems Hakatori alone just caused Great Britain. Yes, they might feel safe, yes, but they still want to be able to get as much in as possible. Going up against Hakatori, no small feat whatsoever. Neutral now, blue zoned. Batulins should be going down. Here comes the rest of... Here comes the rest of not only Japan, but also Kazakhstan to try and shut them down. I didn't realize it was going to be 2 teams pushing them, but they're doing a great job of shutting down neutral.
Yeah, Kazakhstan's made the focus onto Japan. They want to get control over these angles. That might buy enough time for maybe neutral to get their res back up. Looks like what they're trying to commit into right now. Actually, no, just trying to get their meds back up. Sorry about that. Just one up on them. Finland, though, just a couple of points back behind neutral. Luckily, though, Chinese Taipei and Australia both already out, so neutral still has some breathing room to work with. It's just about how much more can Finland get. It is just a wrap coming in from them. Finland has to fight their way into the circle where Turkey is already defending them out.
Yeah, unless Lou survives deep into the late game as a single snake, they're going to have to do something pretty big in the next game, right? There's a world where the barrier becomes effectively team neutral here. And as much as they were trying to make a meal of it up the north, there is also a world where Denmark will be majoritively to blame for pushing them off of drop spots, pushing them into uncomfortable rotations.
Le rompieron el auto.
Finland can stay alive.
Car
flips up. Big problems. 2 down for Finland. Just one up, and it is going to be 2 points behind Team Neutral. But that one is Corexi. Can he make enough happen here?
It does make me think as well for the last game. Does Denmark try and finish what they started, right? Because they've done it 2 games in a row. Why wouldn't they try for something in the last one as well?
Yeah, they have the option to go after the finish as well, so they can actually be just kind of gatekeepers of whatever they want. As United Kingdom getting involved in Japan. Japan did actually manage to rally pretty decently and stop out Kazakhstan, but the flank coming up back behind from the United Kingdom just causing a big problem for him.
Lou now trying to find himself still some room to work with. I think the teams have kind of forgotten about exactly where he is at the moment. He's going for a bit of spray down against Michael. Trying to find himself a way on in. Sunny side up does take down T-Bone though, so it really is going to be on Michael to try and do something for this. Finds himself a spot in some of this shack, but beyond all of that, I think, you know, the blue's still pushing you here, Michael. You got something to do, mate.
Lo esperó en zona,
Japan gets eliminated. Michael manages to find it with some assistance from Kazakhstan on the other side, but blue zone's going to be enough. UK is eliminated in 7th place, but just 6 points now. Behind Denmark. Argentina nipping at their heels with still 4 up, though.
Kazakhstan, can you make a run here? Because you've got some decent spot on this northern side as well as to be able to play into these hills. And to take teams of players are being cleared up in front of you as well. So this could be huge for Kazakhstan if they're able to keep things going here. Obviously, making a change from day on day. That pays off, man. What a run that'd be.
I mean, Malaysia is just one points back behind Kazakhstan right now, so we'll have to see. It is going to be Argentina that gets most of the circle. Malaysia in the east, Kazakhstan to the north, and Turkey just kind of in that northwestern area, but looking to put themselves in the middle of it all.
Yeah, I think the south shift might have actually scuppered the plans here of Kazakhstan completely. Or not only that, but Turkey was actually looking over their way and actually putting in some damage as well against this, really slowing down any potential moves the Kazakhstans could go for. They're trying to take the high ground above this position to try and look down on Kazakhstan, but now Kazakhstan walks into the waiting arms of Shen, an MVP here from PGS, getting some shots, very importantly.
Argentina at 8 kills right now, climb back up into that 4th place position. So this is a big game for them just to get clearance. Kazakhstan, though, and Malaysia, where my eyes keep getting drawn down to. We're so close. Just one game left after this one. Who can get the lion's share of the points? Turkey is going to have to fight their way into a defended Argentina, and also with one player from Kazakhstan just trying to keep an eye on what's going on with Shilla to the north.
It's always Shilla. Every time I look at the top right corner, it's Turkey. It's always Shilla. Looking strong as ult. As now, Emirek's going to try and do a little bit more with it. Malaysia trying to find themselves a little bit more of a defensive posture. They know that if they can get rid of Kazakhstan, they might have better lines of sight that they can take hold of. Towards the north as well as the east. Now, here comes Turkey making the transition, trying to go across the road.
Players now down for Argentina has opened up the center of the circle. A lot of duress now coming onto Argentina. Malaysia is trying to capitalize off of it, flanking in back behind, but they don't have the angles to work with just quite yet. Argentina can't make too many big moves because Turkey has managed to fight their way into the circle. It's just going to be about how we can see these counter moves come up from Malaysia, and can they get active? Do they see the opportunity in front of them, and can Malaysia exploit it?
Unless it's a UI bug, they're running out of ammo as well. He only has 15 shots left on that mini, so gotta be careful, definitely. 30 shots left in the org, and all 3 of his members are down. So there might be a world where he's got no other answer because he'll have no more ammo.
Okay, Malaysia, this is your opportunity. Can you see it? Now jumping up into 10th place. 1 point now back behind Kazakhstan. Argentina still just trying to hold on for whatever they've got. Turkey has managed to rally themselves back together and center control. 2nd place, fighting for position and respect, while it is going to be Malaysia fighting for their livelihood.
Yeah, this is going to be either the tyranny of Turkey taking down Malaysia or Malaysia's best chance, best opportunity to get into the top 8. With the leadership of Shen, obviously, what a star he is on the international stage. And Turkey is taking away kill points from them as it all bleeds down as well. Yeah, I think for Argentina, with no bullets left. He actually loaded his mini shots into the org. He's prioritized the org alone.
Well, his angle of approach could actually spell some problems for Malaysia, but Malaysia is very focused in trying to pick him up. It's all about making sure that this solo goes down, but Malaysia doesn't really have the best positioning to go up against Turkey at the time. Turkey's done a great job of getting positioned very close to center, but it is all going to come down to Shin creeping closer and closer into that Turkey line. And if Shin can pop off, which we know he can, he can secure a good setup for the rest of the squad and really take all of the aggro from Turkey.
I appreciate the R8 players. I appreciate Vega Esports and what they were able to do for qualifying for EWC. Maybe just be a denial or maybe a knock into... No, there's no way you can get this now. You're gone. But this has to be Shen stepping up. This has to be a PGS MVP stepping up for Malaysia, stepping up for his home country. He normally plays for a Chinese organization. But Shen, you've got to do this here against Turkey.
You see it. He doesn't like the angle, realize the fact that he's been spotted out. It's all going to be about how big of an impact he can make off the start of this. 9th place right now for Malaysia. This could be the game that turns it around for them in the biggest of ways. They've been fighting tooth and nail for every single point. But Turkey is in and entrenched. They're running a separated 2-2 with control over everything in the center. Lots of damage. Shield goes down. That's going to be Meta B that finds it off to start.
Yeah, it's the perfect strike from him on that 1 versus 1
Trata de
down on
asegurar
the
esa
south
kill.
side. Now, flashes go forwards here. Shen, though, what can you do? Can you lead these guys to this victory? We will see.
Trata de
Now,
asegurar la
Mark
kill.
already finds AJ. They're all picking up a
Bajaron a uno
position.
de
But
Turquía.
MT starts things off again.
Tirando de
With a little bit of a
Malasia.
trade back against Code Marco. What can you do, Shen? You need to find an opening here, and you need to find it fast.
Side flanks coming up from Turkey, realizing that they've got a full contain onto Malaysia. Celtics playing for one side, it runs right down into the
Y
face. They
Turquía se
find
lleva
the
el
shot.
pollito, amigo.
Turkey manages to take the victory, and Malaysia still right on the cusp.
Turquía se lleva el
A tough circle
pollito,
for them to
amigo.
play out against Turkey, taking the high ground there away from them, and Shen had no answer, unfortunately. But yes, for Turkey, another
Turquía se llevó
easy
el
secure
pollito.
for them, getting
Argentina
across the road in a very strong way. Let's talk
quedaron un
to
poco
Gibson and Mark
separados,
about
no
this
tenían
one.
recursos, no
Gibson
tenían para
is
tirar humo
the boys
y
here, again,
lamentablemente
subverting my
quedaron en el tercer
expectations from
puesto.
EMEA, looking good across the 2
Argentina le
days
sirven
overall.
estos
Yeah,
puntos.
Turkey are playing really good. Look, they took a few maps off. You know, they were kind of slow to kick things off,
Argentina
but that's a
reciben
great
estos
performance
puntos.
for them. I think you said it on the cast. Every time you look in the kill feed, it's Schiller popping off. And it looked like
Argentina
Argentina had that
recibe
game
estos
1 mark,
puntos.
and then Schiller and Code Marco just said no.
Yeah, look, it's such a big. It's the thing for that team. If you can take Sheila out, they kind of fall apart, and it sounds really weird because everyone on that team is an all-star as well, right? They have the
Argentina
capabilities to do
recibe
it. For
estos
some
puntos.
reason, he's just kind of shoulders above the rest. And at that point, we were talking about this, guys, and we said actually we thought Argentina might convert it over, but for Turkey, James, they just stopped him.
Yep, really well done. And again, in not common terrain, right? Like, it's not often we have the water of Oasis in for as long as it was, and therefore it's not often we get towards some of this hillside. We get towards this hillside from time to time, Matrim, but not quite here. So for these teams to navigate around it with this road still in play, a little uncommon.
I mean, we actually got to see some Oasis. I'm excited about it. There was a firefight going on.
Yeah.
Batulins and the rest of the crew from Neutral fighting over there. It was a very dramatic game.
Argentina tuvo los
specifically
3
just all coming
jugadores
down to this road
abatidos,
hillsides, where
noqueados,
it was essentially 2 different arenas.
y
We had the
Emi no
Western
los
and the
pudo
Eastern fronts
revivir
fighting against each other.
porque no
But
tenía
Turkey,
recursos, no tenía...
for as competitive as they've been, this is their first victory, isn't it? This is their first chicken dinner. It's all just been consistency.
No tenía
like a lot of second
humo.
places, but I think this is their first.
Y Turquía estaba
Even
esperando
17
que el de
wasn't
Argentina
actually
cruce para...
overall. But I have to ask the big question because you brought up Neutral.
Quería que cruce, pero para revivir al Pipa y a Kim,
One
pero
game
a
remaining.
Capitán y a Kim,
Is
pero...
Neutral gonna make it?
No.
Well, they've got a target on their back now. Like, we know
Tercer
Denmark,
puesto, 8
they're
kills, la
chasing
verdad
them.
que-
They
la verdad
said,
que bien.
I think
Me gustó, me
Avenger
gustó.
said they're too good of a
Me
team
gusta.
to let them qualify at the weekend.
Tenemos que meter una
So we
más
know they're
así
chasing them.
y-
We know
y
Ukraine want to
nos
get rid
quedamos
of
con
them.
el...
And we know that the teams on the cusp will want to deal with them too.
Pasa
If
que
anything, I'd say Finland are probably
Turquía
getting away
ganó la
rightly
partida y
because
se nos
they've
escapó
got
un
the most
poquito.
friends in this lobby. They're
Ese
the
es el
ones that I
tema.
think they know
Entonces
that
teníamos
everyone
que
else is
haber
going to go
más
for
o
neutral,
menos
so Finland
sacar
might
a
just sneak
Turquía
in.
del medio, por lo menos que Malasia gane la partida.
Okay, this is Eurovision. Who are we going to vote for?
Como para que Turquía se quede con,
But of
menos,
course, Mark,
con los mismos puntos
it's
y
looking
tratar de
dicey, right?
remontar
I
en lo
thought
que es
maybe
esta partida
the
que
path-
viene.
Because I was talking about how, you know, they'd moved up towards where La Cabrera was. Did you take a look at the numbers?
11 kills hicieron los muchachos.
And that could have been their path forwards, especially with a circle like that, but didn't quite work out the way maybe they wanted it to.
No, and it does come down to this last game. For me, the big question is where does Neutral now drop?
Bueno, chicos, ahora vuelvo. Voy a buscar algo para
drop spot. Well, the last 2
para
games
tomar
we've
antes de que
seen
arranque la
them be aggressive
próxima.
to their drop spot, and the last game take it away completely.
Antes de que
So they
arranque la
have to
próxima.
rethink what they're gonna
Capitán
do.
MVP,
Capitán, he had the
amigo.
beats in that bad
Capitán
boys. He had the
MVP.
2 out of 2 bit as well, which is outstanding.
13 kills metió Argentina. 13 puntos metió
This
Argentina.
last game's going to be a bit chaotic. And
13
Matt, I don't know
puntos
about
metió
you,
Argentina,
I think
ojo.
Neutral are not going to make it in.
Ojo, quedó segundo. Turquía metió 21 puntos. Malasia metió 11 puntos. Argentina quedó segundo en esta partida. Ojo, 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 ojo.
Not enough to secure them distance away from squads that are having pretty big come-ups.
Ojo ahí,
You bring up an
Argentina
interesting
quedó
point about
cuarto
their
puesto de
Tego
vuelta.
drop. I know that we're looking at all these
Se nos
things, but there's
escapó un
very interesting
poquito.
stories going on behind this.
Se nos escapó un poquito ahí
because
nomás,
their normal drop, Gibson, is very split. So
Tenemos
if
que
you were
pisar.
even able to
Turquía
just
se
drop on
puso
one person,
segundo.
like, alone on that normal split,
Estoy viendo la tabla, Turquía se quedó por el segundo.
It could be, and you know for a
Dinamarca
fact that if
tercero,
you do catch
se
a
nos
solo,
escapó.
that blue chip's
Se
being
nos escapó
destroyed. It's
Turquía.
getting taken out of the game. I
Estamos
asked
a
Mark,
20
I was
puntos de
like,
Turquía, así que hay que
"Dude,
meter
did
kill.
Neutral go for their
Y por lo
normal
menos
drop
quedar en el
spot?"
puesto
Mark said,
3
"No chance."
para
He was
quedar
like, "There is
tercero
no way
y pasar,
they're
tratar de
going to
pasar
drop
a
north to
Dinamarca.
terminal. It's just
Estamos
not
a
going to happen."
4
So,
puntos de Dinamarca.
I don't know how they approach this game. Like, they've got the players. Like, you look at the resume that, like, even Batulins
Ojo ahí,
has over the last 2 or 3 years. They've got the resumes. but it is just the pressure is going to be so high right now.
I think you're totally right. I mean, technically, you know, those players from those kinds of spots on Dago have a really good track record about getting good results on the board. But if they can't go there, if they once again forced into a bad drop or a bad position, that could be all that matters. But there's so many teams that are still in the fight here for these spots. We're time to go to a break. When we return, the final game of PNT Survival Stage.
So you can hear bad guys better. Hear whatever you want better. That's a giant leap for earbuds and a new way to play for glory.
Arctis Nova 7 Gen 2. The app called the biggest cheat code in the industry is here for PC and console. It's got real-time audio control to do crazy things.
Okay.
So use it and abuse it, you crazy person. It's the new gold standard.
The Ultimate Battle for Survival features 24 PUBG All-Star teams from around the globe. The PUBG Nations Cup is back. This year, things are getting a massive overhaul, so you can do more than just watch. You can dive right into the action and earn a reward. In place of Pick'em Challenge, a brand new event pass, and PUBG Fantasy are coming directly to PUBG Battleground. Beyond just spectating, here's how you can jump straight into the in-game action right now. First and foremost, a stunning lineup of items created to celebrate PNC 2026 awaits you. Anyone can earn them simply by completing event pass missions starting on June 17th. Not only can you get free outfit sets and G-Coins just by participating, but purchasing event pass PNC 2026 also unlocks exclusive rare items, including Panzerfaust and mountain bike skins along with various outfit sets. Notably, the PNC 2026 pass includes standard gameplay missions alongside exclusive PUBG Fantasy missions, such as finalizing your fantasy roster or spending over 90% of your budget.
Me? Malta? I know, but why are we looking at me when you said it?
Hello everyone, welcome to another sit-down game time with Bella. With me is Team GBR or United Kingdom. Hello guys.
Hello.
Yeah. Did you guys say GBR is a mouthful?
Yeah. Too much confusion.
All right, today's game is Never Have I Ever.
Okay. Never have I ever.
You guys all know that game. We should decide what the penalty would be first.
No dancing, please.
No dancing?
No dancing. I was like a tweet. You get a tweet someone. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we pick it as a collective.
Because it's only 4 of you, we'll start with 4 fingers up.
All right, never have I ever been to Italy.
Oh, we
You haven't been.
So you don't put a finger down?
Yes.
I have.
Thank you, T-Bone.
Yep.
Thank you. Wonderful. What a leader.
Okay. Never have I ever been to Malaysia.
You've been. We went last year.
Exactly. Put your finger down.
Bro, you've been like 10 times.
Okay.
Never have I ever smoked a cigarette.
Ooh.
No one smokes cigarette,
Michael,
no?
are you? What finger are you on now?
Wait, but I can't do that. Fingers don't work that way. Never ever ate octopus.
Oh. You've had it?
Yeah, wait, not never have I ever mortared my teammate.
Okay.
Why me?
Malta?
I know, but why are we looking at me when you said it?
You've lost. Yeah.
I've not lost.
Fex is lost.
That's whatever.
Yeah. I'm just happy that Fex is here with us today. What a ball of joy. What should we make Fex tweet then?
No. I have to post a picture with no context.
I'll do Scorpion pose.
Yeah, you did it. Thank you for joining me, Team United Kingdom. Wait, say bye with me. Bye.
Battleground, your management budget will grow even more abundant. Bonus points will be awarded for special milestones, such as First Blood or securing 2 chicken dinners. Most importantly, you can designate one team on your roster as your most supported team. All points they earn will be boosted by a massive 1.3 times multiplier. Make sure to carefully choose your ultimate trump card. Rack up points and climb the global leaderboard. Amazing G-Coin rewards are waiting for you. The first place winner of PUBG Fantasy will take home a whopping 15,000 G-Coin, with G-Coin rewards scaled all across the standing. Even if you don't secure the top spot, there's absolutely no need to worry. Gcoin rewards are available all the way down to the top 50%, so keep your eyes on the leaderboard until the very end. Just keep in mind that rewards can only be claimed after the tournament ends from June 29th to July 7th. Event Pass and PUBG Fantasy are entirely new ways to take your tournament experience to a whole new level. Assemble your dream team today and walk away with various items and Gcoin rewards. The fate of your team is now in your hands.
Six spots feel already very decided. Ukraine, Turkey, Denmark, Argentina, Great Britain, and the Philippines. But which two more teams will join them is the question. Let's talk about it. I'm coming to you, Gibson. Who are you looking at to be able to join those teams out of who's left?
Well, you posed the question, if Finland and neutral drop early, do the teams in the chasing pack have what it takes to close that 10-point gap? And the only real teams that you think maybe could do it are Australia and Kazakhstan. And even then, that's a reach based on how they played over the previous maps. Like, they have a lot of work to do.
Vamos a Taigo, vamos.
I just gotta say, have faith in neutral. You can do it.
Vamos.
All right, let's get to it then. The final game, will they prevail? We're about to find out as we head over to Gibson and Mark for all the action.
Última partida, chicos, eh.
Mark Power,
Última
and
partida.
Gibson on the mic to bring you this one. And Mark, are neutral going to get over the line, or do we see a contender from the bottom half of the table?
Última partida, chicos. Taigo.
I'm going to ask that question in a second. Let's see where they jump out. It's going to be critical.
Ask me
I think he's going to go late, and I think he's going to go airport. I think he's going to go airport, because you got to remember, Victorian and Twisted Minds used to drop, and they've tested this sort of late drop for this fight path. It looks like it might be the case. Denmark haven't altered to go for them as they go for Palace. And for Team Neutral, they do go late. So are they going north? No, they're going south, actually. They're coming out very late, and they're going down towards the south side.
Yeah, well, you have to remember that Canada dropped airport last time on Tago, so that's probably why Neutral have gone so late on this one. As we have a look at Shilla, Metaby. Outside of... Yeah, he's there. But I'm going to ask you a question. Outside, well, maybe they're not, but outside of the previous, the big teams, outside of Ukraine, would you put Schiller down as like the best performing player outside of like the guys in Ukraine?
Noruega está cayendo cerca de neutral,
It's such a good shine of light. Like after PGS and watching them in the circuit, they've not been performing really well, and you have to look at S2G and go, this big question mark. Then you come to this event, Schiller does so well. I think you go away as a team and go, how do we rebuild an S2G? What does that look like? What does a Turkish roster?
Pero pónganme la partida, muchachos. Pongan ahí, activen.
Yeah. Tiggleton thought they were AFK. Tig thought they were AFK. He was like, 4 points.
Argentina, cuarto puesto, acaba de pasar al Reino Unido, chicos, eh. Vamos.
Because we are one of the teams they don't like.
Vamos.
Malaysia, Kazakhstan,
Estamos a 4 puntos de pasar a Dinamarca, nos metemos tercero. Vamos.
But it is such a hard ask, and you look at the previous map where Turkey
acá mejor jugada de Turquía y abajo tenemos la partida, última partida.
Was a real bad knock for Malaysia. Like Malaysia needed that victory.
Look at the mini map. Look at the middle in feed. Norway pushed Levante out. Watch the blue chip.
Acaban de batir a uno de Noruega o de neutral.
Neutral, they're not in a position that they can go apply pressure to this straight away. They're a little bit further afield. They are still obviously
Turquía
down.
está pushando,
2-1 split. Duzi's closer towards Team Turkey, and Batulin's and Lou, where they're really far down. So a disconnect between neutral and their instant players are free. I think I only can answer the question now. I can see them not qualifying, and that pains me to say that.
Well, it'd be a shame. Like, if you look at the biggest stage and you don't have players like Duzi and Batu playing, it is going to be a big dip. Marco, he finds if Ermac, that's the kind of the highlight of how they won that on the top. But I feel like for the likes of Malaysia, I said it before, not winning that map was a massive knock to them. Because if they had won that, Mark, they would have been right on Finland's heels.
Yeah, not sure if the kill feed side. We will now watch him.
Se confía Argentina ahí.
1-2.
Sia.
You look at that last map though, Gibson, and they're qualifying. Both teams are qualifying. For me, in that last circle, Malaysia and Kazakhstan went. They're the big contenders for that final, that penultimate game.
Circle shift does kind of work towards neutral, by the way, for those of you who have got that feed open. So it's circled around terminal and airport, so it is going to be over on that eastern side of the map. So teams like Canada, India, Japan, all have quite a ways to go to make their way inside the zone. Like, if you're looking at teams that need the points, Malaysia are center circle right now. Kazakhstan right beside them as well. So you've got teams that need the points in the center of the circle early.
Yeah, and it's going to be a
Esas fueron las mejores fue la mejor partida de Turquía que tuvo.
Is there. Nice start though from Norway as they're chasing down
Está
kills.
muy
Turkey has
inclinado.
worked its way down on that sort of southeast corner, and Duzi though is definitely stuck behind enemy lines. As you can see now, Metabay not too far away from him.
Canadá está presionando a India. Canadá está presionando a India.
Pass with India, and I feel that final map is ensured destruction, and K-Mind open things up, and Adam gets a confirmation.
It's a wooden spoon fight. Both of these teams,
India no puede levantar esos 20 puntos,
either do India, so they're going to hunt them down and try pick up those kills.
Y Canadá, como necesita los puntos, lo va a apretar a India.
As they continue their traversal. Runax looking
Japón
this way as
aprovecha.
well as Japan. Spot Canada,
Japón
Japan have a
también no
chance
puede
to play
levantar de
spoiler
30
here as well,
puntos.
but they really only played
Y
one map.
Japón mete un par de kills, pasa
The majority of
Australia.
their points came from that one win.
Lamentablemente.
Yeah, Japan needed a good game early on in this day number 2, and it hasn't come.
No sé si acaban de ver.
India
Pusieron una línea.
But Canada already leaving after picking up one.
Una línea amarilla entre Finlandia para abajo.
Continue to work their way towards.
Son los que van a quedar.
That India get opportunity, and it's an unforgiven. Mid-up will fall.
Yeah, can't quite bend the bullet around the terrain now, but that was nice there from an Unforgiven. He hits those
India
shots
tiene que
on the
romper la barrera de los 40
India
puntos.
managed to pull one back, so Canada, they will
Así que
continue
Japón
on
también,
as a
Australia
3
también va a tener que
as they
romper la
wrap
barrera de
around
los
to spot out
45
those India
puntos
players once more. Remember,
para volver
neither
a
of these
meterse
teams want
en
to
los
finish
mejores.
in last place, but I would take this fight, Mark, because of the fact you've got the ability to, with the blue chip machine right there, you can easily take the fight to India and try get Finna back.
But this is the thing, right? For me, especially with the introduction of the blue chips, it's not about winning the fight as a 4. It's about winning the fight. And then, as you say, as long as you win the fight, you get the opportunity, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. You just have to have one person standing to be able to put those blue chips back in. Norway, on the other hand, they are hunting. Hands are in hand. They're going back towards where they got the kill on neutral. They are sweeping this south side, but neutral have tied up, and Turkey have played away.
Yeah, Argentina's Capitan just back from a holiday inside Europe as well, Mark. He spent some time. Oh my word, that was nasty. But
Capitán se llevó el MVP, amigo.
Europe. He was in Rotterdam for a while at the TwitchCon event. Then
Eso
he
fue
went to
lo
Italy to do some
que
exploring before he went back to Argentina. And
lo que nos
looks like
levantó un
that little
poquito.
break did him some good. He's come back and he's played really well over the course of these 2 days.
And they're in so much control at this point of the map as well, right? They were holding out, they're applying pressure. Unfortunately for him, gets caught in that zone there. Dando gets back up, and then again, it's the links that causes so much damage to everyone around him.
Yeah, so Capitan and Argentina, they're pretty much unbothered, focused and flourishing in their lane over by airport, with only really Turkey anywhere nearby them. You have Finland rotating from the north side, getting
Es buena
really
esa, andar
close
con el auto y
towards
tener
Malaysia
el
and Kazakhstan. And
pencil.
if you're Kazakhstan, if you could see the map like we could, you do not
Well,
like this
RPG,
idea
es
of
un
Ukraine
RPG eso.
just
Pero bueno.
rotating pretty close by, do you?
No, Kazakhstan need points as well, Gibson. Sometimes compounds, especially on Tego, don't result in those points. So Ukraine, yes, are sort of towards their west. They are taking, they're taking that opportunity to take the high ground. But if Kazakhstan keep their head down, they're not going to qualify.
Itzy, by the way, did you read that? Dream job as a nail technician.
Japón
That's
sabe
what,
que
that's
tiene
what he
una
wants
Canadá
to
ahí.
be whenever his career in PUBG is over. As sunny side up looks towards
Japón
Adam. The
aprieta a Canadá,
VSS not
sabe que
quite
tiene
hitting
esos puntos.
the shots that he would have wanted over that distance, but Adam will hit the deck and go prone once more. It's Japan still not giving up on these potential points on Canada.
No, but when the knock comes through, they're going to know it's another team in there. It comes sunny side up, puts Adam down. So now for Canada, they know they're not fighting Team India anymore, and it's a full 4-man. Jimboy has to try and hold out. K-Mine obviously takes some huge amounts of damage, though. And then provides cover. And oh my god, it's a barrage of 5.56. He finds K-Man.
Es imposible con esa arma que aguante algo.
The Dacia is about to blow as well.
Es
so
imposible,
Canada
amigo.
leave it all down to Shinboy in the blue, but Japan,
Canadá, India y Japón están peleando dentro de zona,
they're on
tanto
27
como
points, hoping to get 2 more. Maybe just putting
Reino Unido
themselves
están
in
ahí,
with a
están
minuscule
peleando
chance of
dentro
qualifying
de
through to
zona.
play at the weekend
Están
as well.
muy
But Mark,
lejos.
remember, the new zones closes in 15 seconds
Los
time.
tres
I
últimos
actually
están
love it. I
peleando.
love the increased tempo, but that Panzer misses. But I'm loving the way these games are speeding up.
Argentina está en el medio de zona. Argentina está en zona.
They have now
Argentina sigue en zona.
So
Ojo.
Team Neutral needs to turn back the other way. Canada will fall, and unfortunately, they will secure their place in 16th place here for the survival stage. Japan, and we get the meds back on. They are in the blue, and he's getting fighting. In the Philippines, well, they start fighting, and James, well, falls down. 80 jumps out, but falls into a barrage of 5.56, and he gets flushed.
Yeah, Philippines, they're going to deal with Norway now, and
Filipina
Norway
está a
down
punto
to
de
just
sacar a
2
Noruega.
players left alive, and this is another team that are on that cutoff point. They're in 34 points, and with 2 players left alive, it ain't looking good for the Norwegians in this map, and looks like Aya, he's going to go check out some loot, and maybe might even delete that blue chip. We'll see what Aya does.
Yeah, you got to think that'd be the case now, especially when they've taken 50% of that team. Norway obviously now need to play slightly different, but again, they're a team underneath the cutoff line. So again, a team that needs a lot of opportunity and a lot of kills going their way. Ferris taking the opportunity to take to the skies and farm information, but with 153 points, he could fly around all map and it would make no difference to them qualifying and not qualifying.
Yeah, look, Ferris, he can just scout out, let his team know where they are. I think that Ukraine only had 2 games all tournament where they didn't really get up to double-digit points, so they'll want to finish this one with getting a win at the very end as Finland go hunting down Upchen here from Chinese Taipei. He manages to get in behind the shack, but Finland, remember, they're 45th place. They are the cutoff. They need to take advantage of whatever points they can potentially get, and Savior ain't going to be one of them.
I think Chinese Taipei have played really well today as well. They played 11.
Ojo que China se también está ahí,
time, and it's worked out. We saw the third party action on Rondo.
China se tiene más puntos que Australia.
Yes, they got stopped a little bit by that kind of EMP, but it was a good step forward. They're putting that kind of aggressive. Now, they obviously need to look for the qualification. They are one of the teams.
Sí, no sé cómo hacen para controlar la M249 con mira por 4. Eso también tengo que empezar a practicar también con esa arma. Con esa arma ya, o sea, ya tengo live, pero mira por 2, no, y mira por 3 hasta ahí llegué. Mira por 4 todavía no llegué.
So many teams that need a big point game mark already finding themselves in good positions.
They are. We are
Igual que
looking
me estoy metiendo con CMG hasta mira por 3. Eso sí me metí.
Where there are already 8 teams awaiting. Malaysia.
La puerta estaba cerrada.
Again, he's on the wrong side of that cutoff line, so needs a bit more of a calmer game from them. But they're in a good position. They are centralist, a bit more towards that north, and that river divides west versus east.
Empty, and Malaysia just locked into this position. Currently 9 points off of Finland, is sitting in 8th place. They're just north of centre circle, pretty close by to Australia as we look at some very early. I wouldn't even talk about these stats. Way too early to talk about what the winner percentage is on this one.
Argentina.
But Mark, do you see that NEU neutral have just found themselves in the south side of the circle with the Philippines right beside them and Turkey just to their north? I think they might play the edge of Kang Young and just try get into the placements.
That keeps them alive, right? It could be very difficult for teams to crash in. They'd have to be desperate for teams to work in. The only teams that are doing that are ones that are above that line, like the Ukraines, like the Turkeys, Denmarks, etc. But they're on the other side of the zone, unless they do a crazy rotation.
Dinamarca está huyendo de los disparos de Australia.
But they should stay pretty much on this sort of west side.
Dinamarca se quiere acercar un poco más al loot. Australia está pushando ese loot.
Neutral weren't going to drop where they were, where they normally do in this map, so they just couldn't give up on Palace and what it would give them. But they find themselves now in a very good position inside this circle. Turkey the same, and I like playing the edge of Gangneung, especially facing center mark, because it makes it that little bit easier to get out of a city. We always say it. It's easy to get into a city. It's much harder to get out of one.
It's that commitment. Don't commit too early. I think neutral haven't got any other option but to kind of enter into here. Historically, if they're above the line, they might have stayed on that hill, and that fight between them and the Philippines might have unfolded.
Sigue peleando fuera de
At the
zona.
moment, though, it is the right play. Diffix, though, gets the first opening knocked. Vard will go down. T-Bone's there to exchange. Diffix will fall. The rest of Ukraine, too far away.
How often have UK and Ukraine fought over the course of these 2 days? Great
Opa, opa, opa,
T-Bone
opa,
through
opa.
exactly
Reino Unido
where he
acaba
was
de
going to
puchar a
run through.
Ucrania,
Fairest
ojo.
is going to tie to fall damage, and that leaves it all down. Ukraine eliminated. And I'm sorry, Turkey fans, but I don't think you're going to catch their point.
Ucrania estaba jugando
They will
muy
still be comfortably
livianito.
in top spot, but for UK, they'll get these reses off. And man, what a
Estaba jugando
comeback
muy
it's
livianito,
been for
pero
them. I
sabe
think
cómo
James
pasó la
was
segunda
onto something
fase.
right, picking them up for
No le
fantasy.
importa tanto.
Yeah.
Jugó muy tranquilo.
But Turkey is still up there. That's what I'd take. But it does take a big piece of the puzzle off the board. Now, yes, they are qualified, but they're qualified in the context that they could do whatever they wanted, Gibbs. And the fact they've gone down early, there might be a sigh of relief around the rest of these teams.
Argentina está ahí nomás a un punto de pasar a Reino Unido.
Finland, though, in that northeast corner, trying to hold off as Japan work their way around.
Yeah, but that's only one Japan players. The other ones are a bit further south, and Sata needs to be very careful now that they don't push on up, because you've now got to go through Japan on your pathway into the next circle, unless you wrap all the way down to IXC, who's playing on the very eastern side of the circle. But I think Japan, they're going to just post up here for now, play the rice fields, play the dips, and 30 points, 15 off top spot. They're going to believe there's a chance, but Mark, I don't think so. And Corexi is going to compound the misery. That's a big knock, and if they can get this point here, it actually, I think, will put them above NEU, because they've actually won a map.
Finlandia quiere alcanzar a
conversion.
Neutral.
Now, make sure they get stolen away. They get another one. Scav puts Fevin down. Eyes on the prize where they can. The zone
Argentina tiene que meter un par de
should shift. How
kills
much
para
of that
poder
exposed
alcanzar a
town remains? A big
Reino
proportion of
Unido.
it. Neutral already clashing here with India as they crash on in.
Yeah, Batu picks up that point. So just as Finland managed to get a point, there's an instant rebuttal from neutral. They're both on 47 points now, which you said earlier. You think sort of the cut-off will be lying thereabouts, as Batulans will confirm out an extra one, putting them back above Finland for now. This battle for Gangneung, they've cleared themselves space, and I think thankfully for them, Turkey aren't going to push this way, so they should be able to live and survive for a bit longer and maybe pick up more points on India.
Yeah, Turkey looking at this as trying to get a final win, right? They're not being, I suppose, chaotic as they could be. They're being disciplined in their game approach.
Argentina
finds Saturday as they apply pressure on towards that north. Finland do not need to go
Argentina
down right now.
Argentina está apretando.
Launches a barrage of 5.56 out towards the high side. Here comes the one. Needs to make him to waste, and he does. Gets away just in time.
Yeah, but this is big now. Scav's got to stay here. You've got to try to stay
apretando.
alive long enough for reinforcements. That needs going to bounce the other side, and Capitan will find another.
Argentina se metió cuarto puesto de vuelta. 70 puntos. Está ahí nomás Dinamarca. Estamos peleando el segundo puesto. Vamos.
Will combine. Lou, he'll deal with India. He'll take that
Vamos a pelear el segundo puesto.
for the extra points, and that piles on the pressure even more to Finland.
Vamos, chicos.
It does, and they have to cut and make running towards the zone. What worries me is they might look at the town, and the only entry point they've got is straight onto neutral. Other teams now enter, Malaysia being one of them. Again, a team looking to try and get on the right side, though. Shen, the final player for them, and he will be the final survivor only as they work their way into the compound.
Yo no sé dónde meten tanta granada, porque vos llevas 3 granadas y ya no puedes meter ni bala. Ni cura puedes llevar.
Which opens the door for Kazakhstan, Australia, Chinese Taipei, all in with a chance, but Argentina, they're
Me
pushing
parece que llevan granadas en el auto. Agarran todas las granadas que pueden y las guardan en el auto.
One team holding Chinese Taipei.
Guardan las granadas en el auto y van todo el tiempo con los autos.
Each other in the leaderboard are around each other on the server as well.
Yeah, it's a difficult circle, right? It would be a one
A mí
team
guardan las
survival.
granadas en el
You've got to
auto.
think Tig's been in by those crates for a while, so expect him to be stacked. Finland looking to try and get the boys
Mira
back as
Argentina
they
ahí,
cut themselves back
Mira
towards
Argentina
the
ahí,
line, but they're cutting their way towards
Guarda.
Argentina. Get in front, but they know they've been bleeding. They pull up. He's in the car. DraftKing playing sneaky. IXE on the other side. You wouldn't be able to find him. He
No,
jumps out, hits the
piso.
click of the grenade, but DraftKing will just sit and wait.
Yeah, dips out of the smoke for now. Dips back in. The Scandal's found. He takes himself down with his own nade. And Scab will toss another one in. Confirm the point out. Every single point matters. As that moves on to 48, you've got a nade being thrown from afar by Pipa. They're following it in. This is Finland's last stand.
Run! Finland, you have to make the last stand. You've got to stop the push, and it is a huge barrage. Kobe's blue zones come over. One blue zone only will not be enough. And Argentina, well, they're down towards 3. Chinese Taipei, as I said before, they like the third-party action. And unfortunately for Finland, they're on the cut-off line, but they cut themselves short.
Pasamos Dinamarca, tercero.
Opens up the door now for the teams in the hunting pack. Kazakhstan, Australia, Chinese Taipei, all with a huge chance to close the gap. But it is still a lot. Like, you're talking about 12 points minimum for any of these teams to catch Finland. Who also have a win in the back pocket, so the placement point buffer will be a nice one for them, Mark.
Look at Batunis. Batunis has left the compound. He's left the safety of the city. He's gone towards that northeast corner. He's trying to take anything he can get at the moment. Chinese Taipei can see the bodies below. They've got the BRDM. A barrage of flashes forward, though. But the grenades come through. A little bit of damage, but it's not enough to get the knock.
Chinese Taipei will look to ride this BRDM into the weekend if they're able to just keep on surviving. Argentina one side, Australia the other. By dealing with those two teams, you open up the door. But I think that Xavier... He's just moving a neutral of center.
Vamos Argentina tercero, vamos,
They've sent it. They're gambling, but they're gambling on getting the points. Turkey finds a Hober, though. Capitan launches shots towards that BRDM. Chinese Taipei just farming information.
Vamos, chicos, vamos.
They've inserted themselves in this fight because they want to get as many points as they can.
Yeah, Batu's going to fall, though. Beamy gets the knock, and all of a sudden, Neutral are in a bad spot. 2 players left alive now.
Beamy
will confirm out that kill as Chinese Taipei don't know where to go next.
Termina repleando porque sabe que viene la zona.
Back into Kangyong, they're going to just try to survive into the placement points. They know if they can get 2, maybe 3 more points.
Argentina. Dinamarca quiere recuperar su punto. Australia está apretando a China.
Australia start to make their stand.
TGL está apretando con su equipo a China.
It looks like a confirmation. They get another one on the board here, and actually the run over is not going to help Chinese Taipei. They had the power of the BRDM, but it's not enough.
Va a tener que replegar,
force of Australia.
Lo va a apretar la fase 5.
He's going into the blue. He's getting out of there. He knows that it's Australia, and he doesn't want to farm them or give them the opportunity to get more points. Now, it is phase 5, so you can see how much damage he is taking every single second. He is going to try to deny to the blue, but surely you can see the BRDM. You know where he is, but Xavier, this is big. He goes for Luke, but he misses the first shots.
Flood gets a massive hit onto him. There's another point out there. Tig's looking to try and work his way in. Xavier's got to be dead. Gets the med back on. Goes back towards that BRDM, but he's outside. The zone is ticking, and it's doing
Argentina Argentina bajaron a 1. Quedan 2 en Argentina. Australia, Monty.
For the instant knock on the other side. IM5 is going to toss the nade over. Gets the flush. Chinese Taipei will fall. As Xavier goes down to the blue. The nade from IM5. The first one's not good enough. The second one should be much better, but Flood is still alive and kicking. Can Monty get Flood back up? Tiggleton is down and out though. 6 kills for Australia. 2 players left alive. It might just be a bridge too far.
Might be a bridge too far. 6 kills at the moment. They're at 40. There's only a small gap between them, but there's a big gap between them and the zone. Monty looking to try and get Flood back up. IM5 doesn't look like he's got the heavy.
Argentina recuperó el compañero. Argentina acaba de recuperar el compañero.
But it's a crater and it goes bouncing towards the town.
Dinamarca quiere 2 puntos. Argentina está arriba.
Do you try to make a stand inside this turf? Kazakhstan with just 2 players left up alive. So you think about that, that's 2 points up for grabs for either of those 2 teams. Then the placement points will start to get involved as well. But as you can see, IM5 has got no throwable utility, as on the other side, Norway are battling with Team GB.
They are. He does get the first opening knock. Michael finds Monty at distance, though, and Norway do go down. So their chances to go to the final are ended. 10th place, though, it's Team UK. Still try and hold out. Australia able to get the Reds back on, so they're back to a 2. But again, it's phase number 6, and it's 3 seconds before it starts pushing.
Yeah, the blue zone's going to start moving. The only thing that might help Australia right now is the fact that they do have a P90. They have some level 3 gear that might just give them the boost that they need, but it's still such a task. You've got to... Look, one more spot, one more team falls, that's 1 point. That brings it down to 7. If you can just survive, maybe find 1 or 2 kills along the way, that goes for them and Kazakhstan, you might just fall into the finals.
Yeah, but for Kazakhstan, they're trying to work their way in. Turkey have set themselves up for an end game, so they've set themselves up for the shot. Australia setting themselves up now for the push. They work their way down. Metabay has the first one, but they pull up and they pull down.
Dinamarca quiere los puntos. Está apretando Dinamarca, volvió a tener el tercer puesto. Argentina pasó al cuarto puesto. Están empatados, diferencia de kill. Dinamarca se llevó el tercer puesto contra Australia. Dinamarca acaba de sacar a Australia. Dinamarca quiere el tercer puesto. Tiene sus 4 jugadores. Argentina tiene uno abatido y uno vivo.
Big player, but he will need some huge plays and more importantly, some huge kills. So he's looking like
Turquía acaba de bajar a uno de Dinamarca.
Team punching their ticket to the final, but for now, Turkey, as I said, set up for the fight, and now chaos can unfold. Team UK had an outstanding day. Denmark throwing everything they can in it as well. They got bodies down, and Gustav though looking to provide the final blow.
So Mark, big question: what's the next Falcons team meeting going to go like now as Gustav just wiped out Tig's chances of making it through the weekend? UK deleted as Gustav will pick up a few more alongside Ketter. But yeah, how much money has Gustav just cost Tigleton? That's the real question.
They didn't take him out, so don't give him that.
Dinamarca quiere los puntos de Turquía.
That's what it's for. They're competitive. Remember, Gustav is having fun with the guys.
Yeah, the guys weren't having fun with Gustav there, I'm not going to lie. As we've got our top 4, Malaysia up to 40 points. So think about it this way. They survive 2 more teams falling. That's an extra 2 points in the bank. They still need to get a couple of kills and these extra few spots if they want a chance.
Malasia quiere su punto también,
really the question is, do neutral want to cause havoc to Finland? Because they could take the fight to Shen.
Malasia necesita los puntos de
I think they're actually going to push towards Shen, but I think neutral, despite that push out, that stance to go take the fight. Yes, they did lose battalions, they had to play back and they go defensive. They've just kept out of trouble, and the fact they've kept out of trouble, they find themselves now above that cutoff line. Big brains, big brains.
Where's the headphones?
Where's the cowboy?
Where's the headphones? But you know what? GG's to Denmark. They've guaranteed at least 3rd place. They'll be playing at the weekend. Turkey, they were phenomenal. 2nd place, maybe 100 points still to go with Shen. Knows.
No, we're not home. Not behind door number B.
But now he has to open the door up again, and that's going to give away the footsteps.
Yeah, he's heard him. He's gone back. This is one.
Oh my God.
A doozy! Had an absolute doozy with that. He pulled that pin and just stood in shock and awe as what unfolded in front of him. Team neutral taking the opportunity to say goodnight, and a doozy wanted no more than Final 4.
That was a real doozy of a need there, wasn't it?
Oh
from a
my God.
Luna, last player standing. He's going to try and take out the Turkey team as he gets that need ready. Celtic's going to go for the res, but one well-placed need could be a problem.
Dinamarca quiere sacarle los puntos a Turquía. Neutral se quiere quedar todavía en el podio de los mejores 10. Última partida, chicos, decisiva. Última partida decisiva, chicos.
A doozy is out. Lou, final player for them. Denmark are looking for a clean sweep despite being the aggressor for Team Neutral in the last 2 games. They are trying to play their own game and they're playing
lo dudo mucho que Neutral gane la partida, pero para que se meta en el podio de los mejores, ojo. Ojo que si Dinamarca se cruza con Turquía, que me parece que
they're just waiting. They've got the circle. They've got control. They're happy for Turkey to get the kill on the Lou, and then they'll hope that their position
lo peor
to beat
que
the
puedes
numbers.
hacer. Lo peor. Te guardan las bombas, no sé de dónde las sacan la bomba, pero te atacan con todo. 3 contra 2, chicos,
3
contra 2, lo está apretando la zona. Dinamarca tiene zona, Turquía tiene que avanzar, quiere romperle el auto.
Ketter has to do is be a distraction, right? Ketter's entire job now is to stay alive.
Quieren destruir viene el
don't
auto.
fall. Keep all eyes on the rock, and that will allow the Gustav flank on the other side to cause a problem. But I think Gustav's just revealed his position as well by tossing that nade.
Turquía está
Damage
intimidado.
has been done. It's a 3 versus 2, so number advantage is
Oh,
in the eyes of Turkey, but they have to get out of this compound. They have to get over the wall. Smokes will stop line of sight. Gustav takes the opportunity with that to make the run. He gets caught here by Celtic,
Turquía
but lucky enough for
aprovecha.
him, he finds safety just behind, and the shield gets up. Also, just in time for Gustav.
Oh, big brain play, but the Panzer said, oh my god, the fence stopped the Panzer.
Charge!
Gustav has stepped up closer, got the angle on the other side. Metaby spots him out, and Metaby gets the knock on to Gustav, leaving it all down to Ketter.
Turquía
But
quiere
can
los
he be
puntos
better
todavía.
than
Turquía quiere
this
quedarse el
Danish, or
segundo
this Turkey
puesto.
side? He's holding the rock, he's got a Panzer.
Turquía
One good
defiende
Panzer
su
could change everything.
puesto.
Yeah, Gustav obviously has been confirmed. Darts and information will be denied. They've got a few crates, a couple of craters to try and hold out.
Turquía defiende sus puntos.
Here from Turkey. Ketter is waiting. The spray goes through. He's now going to swap towards the grenades. When will that Panzer come out and cause an explosive action? But Ketter backed up against the wall, but looking to try and take everything to Turkey.
He's got another nade in the back pocket. He's got a BZ that he can toss as well, but you can see the flash grenades being thrown his way. The nade finds 26 damage, forcing a temporary retreat from Turkey. A Celtic and Comarco move, but keep an eye on the flank on the other side. Metaby is just holding the angle.
Comarco and Celtic both go down to one shot, so they have to go back in towards the smoke.
Dinamarca quiere esos puntos.
Goes to get his hand
Dinamarca
in the
quiere los
cookie jar of the
puntos.
crate, and Ketter still unhinged.
Dinamarca quiere los puntos de
still holding the
Turquía.
line.
Yeah, and they get themselves back up. They've found a few med kits. They're keeping alive in the fight. Metaby's position. I don't know if Ketter saw him, but we can see him in the corner of our screen. You can just see the elbow sticking out from the edge of that. And he can see the gun. He can see that rifle of Ketter's as well. That's going to be a flash grenade trying to
Quieren
beat a piece.
intimidar a
But Turkey are
Turquía.
trying to play the
Dinamarca quiere
patient game.
intimidar a
He
Turquía.
doesn't need to move. He doesn't need to move. They have to move first. He's been caught with the flash. Ketter's lining up now for Met space. That's some damage though come from the blue. Goes round the other side. That might be catastrophic for him. He
Turquía
has
lo
to
está
manage the
llenando.
fight. Good
Turquía le
smoke.
está tapando la
Comes
visión.
out from Code Marco. That's going to deny a line
Turquía
of sight opportunity for him
Turquía
to
se
drive forward, but
lleva
it's not going to be for long.
la
And it's Turkey back to back.
partida.
18 kills and Turkey close out. Day number 2 Gibson with a bang.
Su segunda
Turkey, yay, or is
partida.
it Turkey? Yay, James, as they get the win to close
Turquía
out the weekend.
se acaba de llevar 2 partidas. Segundo puesto. 130 puntos calculo. 130 puntos estoy calculando.
I'll take that double back-to-back here for Turkey. Awesome stuff here by them.
Mejores jugadas, mejores jugadas de la última partida.
Here, Matrim. I had doubts about them, but they have been able to show fantastic strength day on day.
I mean, the fact that they managed to make that push, you and I were talking about it while we were watching everything go down, and it felt like it was everything just in the bag for Denmark at the time. But Turkey managed to find the ways to navigate it, played it slow, changed the pacing of the game, took the 1v1 as they needed to, and then slowly pushed it into the 1v3. Just an overall very heady game coming out of them, and a lot of teams as well, you got to give respect to, that were trying all the way until the end just to secure, but the 10-point differential on this last game, just too big to usurp.
Yeah, well, this was a tense one, obviously, for teams like Australia, for teams like Kazakhstan, trying to scramble. They end up running into each
Argentina se
other
le
as
escapó
well,
el tercer
Gibson,
puesto.
and, all for naught in the end.
Yeah, I thought for a second when I saw
Argentina se le
Australia's
escapó el
position
tercer
and I saw
puesto,
the
chicos.
2-2 split, I thought there was maybe a chance something could happen, but it was really just mutually assured destruction between them, Chinese Taipei, Kazakhstan, basically everybody making sure the other team ain't going to make it. And then, nice for Gustav. I know Tig was dead at this point already, but making sure his Falcons teammate's not going to be playing at the... why do we have to show that again for poor Doozy?
I agree. Why you got to do him like that? That's like the most uncharacteristic doozy mistake of all time. But you know, because you even see the UI element of cooking a nade. But
I just love how Shin was watching it, sees it, is like, "What?" Picks back around and then instantly dies. Like its brain stopped for a second and allowed Turkey to just murder it.
Did that really happen in front of me?
Yeah, not common at all, but sometimes it happens in the heat of the moment here. But Neutral will move on, importantly, Mark, considering, I think as soon as they didn't go to the normal drop, I think I was talking to Martin as well while this was going on, saying they were in their heads, they didn't want to kind
Bueno, mi gente hermosa, esto fue
I mean, Neutral, they made it work in
la
the end.
PNC 2026 de PUBG. La PNC Nation Cup 2026. Mañana vamos a estar de vuelta. Vamos a Argentina, mañana vamos a estar acá también. Así que hay que tratar de meter puntos, chicos. Hay que tratar de meter puntos porque en la próxima partida nos podemos quedar afuera. Así que nada, chicos. Gracias por estar ahí. Gracias por esos comentarios. Así que no olvides de compartir el video también para que estemos alentando todos acá. Y nada, chicos. La partida se la llevó Turquía. Así que nada, chicos.
But man, like what a 2 days. They told me they were going to play like Predators. That's what Sheila told me. And
Estamos ahí, estamos.
like I didn't see it coming, but I'm so happy it did turn out that way.
Yeah, Metabay taking a man of the match as well. Awesome to see kind of the growth of this team across just 2 days alone. I mean, of course, yesterday technically was better, but still able to step up to the plate here with a back-to-back towards the end, taking down some big names along the way as well. 990 damage coming in from Metabay.
Y así quedó el podio, chicos. Argentina quedó puesto 5 de la partida. Quedó en quinto puesto en partida con 9 puntos. Reino Unido se llevó un punto más. Quedó cuarto. Neutral segundo con 10 puntos. Dinamarca puesto 2. Y puesto global. Puesto global, chicos. Puesto global. Argentina sigue cuarto. Argentina sigue cuarto. Argentina sigue cuarto. Ojo, ojo ahí, Ojo, chicos, ojo. Ojo, Argentina quedó cuarto. Ahí nomás un par de puntitos. Un par de kills. A 8 kills de Dinamarca. Y así quedó, chicos. La gran final, Estos son los equipos que pasan a la gran final, Este es el equipo que pasa a la gran final,
Doozy look to try and get the win again. Well, they do have a day off, and obviously for them, they have to try and figure out what the game plan is for those teams that are coming.
Así que nada, chicos, esto fue la PNC Nation Cup 2026. Y acá están con los chicos de Ucrania, pero nosotros los vamos a dejar porque nosotros estamos alentando a Argentina. Así que nada, chicos, los dejo, cuídense, nos vemos. Soy Marcel MI, no te olvides que estamos aquí. Mañana vamos a estar acá, alentando a Argentina. Nos vemos. Chao, chao.
Чесно кажучи,